remarks.
I appreciate everybody coming for this important press conference regarding the emergencies facing our city. First, we're going to hear from Mayor Karen Bass. Following that, we'll hear from Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Catherine Barger. After that, we'll hear from County Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Lindsay Horvath. Following that, we'll hear from LA City Fire Chief, Kristen Crowley. Following that, we'll hear from LA County Fire Chief, Anthony Maroney. After that, we'll hear from LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell, then Sheriff Robert Luna, and following that, we'll hear from LADWP General Manager Janice Quinones, as well as Superintendent Alberto Carvalho. The mayor will come back to the podium and open it up for questions. I'll call on questions from the left. And with that, Mayor Bass.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I stand here today with incredible sympathy and concern about the devastation and the tragedy that our city and county are facing. And I definitely want to send my condolences to the families who lost loved ones, to the families and neighborhoods who lost property. This firestorm is the big one in magnitude. Hurricane force winds are usually accompanied by rainstorms, but these are hurricane force winds that are combined with extremely dry drought conditions. To provide context, at 10:20 a.m. yesterday, the Palisades fire was at 10 acres. 12 minutes later, it was at 200 acres. To those who fled their homes, especially those who have lost your homes, our hearts are breaking for you, and we stand with you. I know the world is looking at images of our city's devastation. I have seen the front lines of the Palisades fire, and it is staggering. I've been in constant contact with our fire commanders, with county, state, and federal officials. I took the fastest route back, which included being on a military plane, which facilitated our communications. So I was able to be on the phone the entire time of the flight. We are fighting for you and everyone in Los Angeles. Thank you to our first responders who waded into flames, pulled people from cars, and got them to safety no matter how dangerous. And thank you to everyone who heeded our warnings to evacuate. Tonight, more people may get evacuation orders, and if they do, please leave immediately. If you have an evacuation warning, get ready to go. Protect yourself and each other, and support our firefighters on the front lines. Our strategy included preparations and pre-deployment, and it now includes fire crews from around the state and from our federal partners. We are also adapting in real time. These winds continue to blow. So let me be clear. I am making sure that we leave no resource untapped. Firefighters are now on scene from across the state and across the country. I spoke with President Biden today and Governor Newsom earlier today, and they assured me of full federal and state support. As we head into tonight, we are still facing strong and erratic winds. In Palisades and in Sylmar, we are very much in an active firefight. I can report to you that the Woodley fire, however, in the Sepulveda Basin is under control. I can also report that finally air operations have resumed, and that is a big deal, but it is up to the winds as to how long the air support can continue. But these conditions are highly volatile. We've seen a devastating fire in the Pasadena area. Fires have sparked up in Simi Valley and on the LA and Ventura County line. And as our firefighters do battle on the front lines, all of us must be vigilant. So if you receive an evacuation order, please leave immediately. If you receive a warning, get ready. Protect yourself and protect each other. And don't divert firefighters from our strategy. Signals are out and the roads have debris. So stay off the roads unless you are evacuating or have another emergency. Be prepared, food, water, medicine, a bag packed and ready. Again, this is an active situation. and conserve water to the extent that you can. We want to make sure that we are ready if we need more water. But make no mistake, Los Angeles will rebuild stronger
Dude, why don't
than
they
ever.
just...
Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter.
Too bad they don't have some kind of boat that they could like bring in here and just squirt this house with ocean water. Yeah, they can't do that. I guess it's too shallow, but like it'd have to be a special boat. You know what I mean? They can go into shallow water, but it has a badass pump on it. How often would they need something like that? Probably not very often.
Is available. All of this can be found at URL. Los Angeles, together is how we will get through this. Through the heroism of our firefighters, the vigilance of Angelenos, and the spirit of our city. This is a big moment. It is a big moment for all of us to come together, for Angelenos to be united, for Angelenos to be prepared to help each other. This is who we are. LA will rise, and make no mistake, I am confident that we will rebuild.
About some cheap
and with that,
weed.
I would like to introduce LA County
Really cheap.
Board of Supervisor Chair, Catherine Barger.
I got a quarter.
Thank you, Mayor, and I want to thank you for your leadership. I know when this first hit, we were in constant contact, so thank you for being a true leader to this great city of Los Angeles. Obviously,
44 plus tax.
As someone who represents the 5th District, we are prone
Nervous.
to wildfires.
$44.
Nothing like
plus
what I
tax.
witnessed today. The Eaton Canyon fire is ripping through a community like I have never seen. It is like a third world country out there. I would ask anyone listening, if you do not need to be in the area and you've been evacuated, please heed the evacuation warning. And if you don't live in the area, please stay away. I was shocked to see people walking around that don't live up there.
Oh, I just want to point one thing out right now. Holy shit! What happened to America? 1 female, 2 females, 3 females, 4 females. Literally, 4 out of 5. Is he even in the front row? Is this guy even in the front row? Or is it just 4 females?
Taking a look at what's going on. We have firefighters.
What are we doing? No!
Saving lives.
You motherfucker!
ABC.
Dude,
There was nothing
Of this yet.
this DI
Families
bullshit.
and families of officials.
leading to nothing.
I blame it on DI made that happen.
Mistake. Los Angeles and Palisades.
I have no
and
idea where the fuck I was
we are
at,
very
dude.
much in an active firefight. I
Did
can
we see this
report to
already?
you that the Woodley fire, however, in the Sepulveda Basin.
We heard
mistake
everything she had to say,
Shocked
right?
to see people.
That we will rebuild.
I don't fucking know,
And with
dude.
that,
Deal with
I
it.
would like to introduce LA County
We
Board
did
of
now. She
Supervisor
didn't say
Chair,
shit anyway.
Catherine Barger.
I think we did start listening to
Thank
her.
you, Mayor, and I want to thank you for your leadership. I know when this first hit, we were in constant contact, so thank you.
Hey, I never
for
said I was
being,
good at this
a
shit,
true leader
dude.
to
Did I?
This great city
I
of
don't,
Los
I don't
Angeles.
fucking think I am. If I was, there'd be more than 12 people here.
As someone who
Let's be
represents
real.
the 5th District, we are prone to wildfires.
Y'all just come here because you're
Nothing
losers.
Like what I
I
witnessed
know what's
today.
going on. I know the truth,
The Eaton
okay?
Canyon fire is ripping through a community like I have never seen. It is like a third world country out there. I would ask anyone listening, if you do not need to be in the area and you've been evacuated, please heed the evacuation warning. And if you don't live in the area, please stay away. I was shocked to see people walking around that don't live up there.
All right, haven't had my
just taking a
Snickers.
look at what's going
Haven't
on.
had my fucking Snickers.
We have firefighter and first responders that are trying to do their job, and it's important for us to all support them and make sure that we provide space so that they can get it done. The county has lost many facilities. Our parks, our Eaton Canyon Nature Center, our senior center. I'm sure the sheriff will talk about the fact that we almost lost our sheriff's station, but it's been evacuated. We are going to rebuild.
Oh, that's bad.
And when We met with the governor and the president. The resources
Whatever.
and the promises have been made.
Wow.
And it's going to be our job to deliver. And I am confident,
That brings back
given the
memories,
resiliency
dude.
of this great county,
like
working
I'm
with all of our
kid again.
partners, we will rebuild. And to my friends out there that I have talked to today that have lost their homes up in Eaton Canyon, I am a phone call away, and you are not alone. And to those of you that have
tastes
lost
like cheap
homes,
weed.
please reach out for help.
Been a
You are
while.
not alone. It's
Broken shit,
important for
though.
us to recognize that these people have lost everything. In many cases, their entire life savings. So as we move forward, we're going to make sure the Department of Mental Health has resources on the ground. But if you need someone to talk to, reach out. Reach out. Love thy neighbor. So with that, I would like
Dude,
to
speaking
invite
of love
Supervisor
thy
Lindsay
neighbor,
Horvath up.
Fucking idiots in Long Beach have hoarded the eggs to the point that there are none in Costco. No eggs. All they had was egg whites in cartons and these pre-made egg white with spinach things that were on sale. I was like, fuck, I'll try those things out. What am I gonna do with egg whites, dude? What? Oh man, that's too bland. I need that yolk. I need the fat. I need the cream.
My colleague who represents the
Hey,
3rd
who
District.
the fuck just left? Go get his ass and kick it. I'm just playing.
Thank you very
You're in trouble
much.
for saying that.
Earlier today, I visited the Westwood Recreation Center
Don't leave,
where I was able
please.
to listen,
Sit the fuck down.
to grieve, and to be with
I know this is a
evacuees
shitty news.
in this
You know what?
time of
I'm just going to
crisis.
fast forward through this
To
motherfucker.
also thank the volunteers.
All I cared about was Karen
While
Bass.
protecting lives.
They're in the impact.
Fuck is this guy? I don't care about the women talking. Let's get the men up there. There we go. Let's see what this guy has to say. The women need to go back and make me a sandwich. Get the fuck out of here, lady. You fucked up. You're an idiot.
My name is Anthony Maroney. I'm the County of Los Angeles Fire Chief.
See,
I'm
even
gonna
Carol
give an
Bassett's
LA
laughing
County
at her.
update in addition
What did
to
she
a
just say?
Region 1
Oh,
update.
she's cute.
For the Eaton Fire
Dumbass.
in Los Angeles County, Altadena, Pasadena,
What the
and Sierra
fuck
Madre,
is she laughing
the LA
for?
County Fire
There's
Department
nothing to laugh about today
continues to
for you.
be
Nothing. No
in
laughing.
unified
You're not allowed to
command
smile.
with the U.S. Forest Service
Today.
and the Pasadena and Sierra Madre Fire Departments, in addition to our law enforcement partners. The fire has been mapped this afternoon at 10,600 acres, and it is still growing. We have 0% containment. We have over.
Do you understand? I don't give a fuck about this press conference. All I wanted to see was Carol Bassett had to say, and she didn't say shit. Fucking joke, dude. Gavin Newsom showed up yesterday laughing about shit in the parking lot with people, like something was funny. What is wrong with these people? What the fuck is wrong with these people? How could they have anything to laugh about right now? People are dead. People have lost everything. Some people didn't have any house insurance and they lost everything. And she has something to laugh about today. And Newsom had shit to laugh about yesterday and the other people had shit to laugh about in that parking lot. How? That's what I'm not understanding. People are fucking disconnected somehow and they're right in the middle of it. Like they are in charge of this shit and they're laughing. I don't think that would happen in the South. I don't think you would see that in Tennessee. If there's something like this was happening in Tennessee, where I'm from, you wouldn't see the fucking officials that are in charge of shit laughing about anything. I guarantee it, dude. I fucking guarantee it. Got the Dosho guarantee on
Counties of Los Angeles.
with looting. That is 100% unacceptable.
Sometimes I hate living
I'm
out
gonna
here,
repeat
dude.
it. If you do not belong in these areas, do not go there. We have additional people that we've brought in just to make sure that people's property are left alone. These people have gone through so much.
What'd I
Don't
do?
put them through more than they have to go through. And then we're on humanitarian missions. I have deputies dropping off food, blankets, and other things to people who have either been evacuated or who just need somebody to talk to and frankly just give a hug to. Those are the kind of things that we're doing out there.
I see
I do
through
wanna
them
talk
acting
about,
like they care.
evacuations.
I don't know. Maybe
regarding
he
the
does.
Eaton fire, we have over
He used to
70,000
be our
of our
police
community
chief,
members
Long
who have
Beach.
been impacted by either evacuation orders and or warnings. The Palisades,
Long Beach
the
sucks,
Palisades
though.
fire,
So,
approximately
Long Beach is doing very well.
60,000 who have been impacted by evacuation orders or warnings. As I said earlier, we have called
I
in
can't
additional
even trust
resources.
parking my car on the
not
street.
only
It
for what's
definitely
in
would get
front of
broken
us,
into.
but looking around the corner, what's next? Both fire chiefs have made it very clear we are not out of danger. There's a lot of work to be done. For me, in my other role as mutual aid coordinator, just to give you an example, as we are not only calling in our resources, we check with other departments, both in the county and outside the county, and we've provided Pasadena Police Department with additional resources, one from the Long Beach Police Department in a mutual aid capacity, and from the Orange County Sheriff's Department. So I'd like to thank those two departments. And that's something we do in law enforcement. Santa Monica's asked for help last night.
Kitty just took a shit.
We also coordinate and helping with that as well. Chief Maroney mentioned it. Unfortunately, we do have 5 fatalities. We're praying that number doesn't increase, but there's a lot of work to do. And we'll see what happens there.
Oh, yeah.
We are up to 3 looting arrests as we speak. And then the last thing I'd like to leave you with again is earlier I spoke about evacuation warnings, evacuation orders, and a lot of road closures that are taking place in both of these locations. I'm not going to go through them all, but I encourage our community members to go to lacounty.gov/emergency, where you will get updates on those orders, warnings,
Looks like a
and road
volcano.
closures. And again, I am really proud of our community.
reminds me of the
overall.
movie
Sometimes
Volcano.
we talk about the looting and people who aren't listening. I'm going to tell you,
Yo, the Hollywood sign was right
90%
there.
of the
That's
people are
wild.
listening, and I think that's why hopefully
good
the
perspective
injuries
shot.
and fatalities and all those ugly things will stay down. So
Really
thank
puts
you
into perspective where the
to our
heck
LA
every
County
like where this
residents
is.
for working with us in partnership. And now I'd like to
Wow,
introduce
is it gonna make it into Hollywood? What the
LADWP.
All right, that was Sheriff Robert
Actually-
Luna. We have new video. That picture on your right is a new
This
fire.
is seriously
the Hollywood
biblical
Hills.
shit, dude.
This is the
It's
location
in the
that we were
Hollywood
given,
Hills.
2350
That's
North Solar Drive. That's
crazy.
between Nichols Canyon and Runyon
So,
Canyon in the Hollywood Hills.
this ever
There are a
happened?
number of homes surrounding that. Chris Christie, are
That's
you available to give us some information
It's
about
going
this?
pretty good, man.
Mark, very concerning sight here in the Hollywood Hills. We're just
Holy
west
shit,
of
this is
Nichols
so
Canyon,
biblical.
just north of Hollywood
Yo.
Boulevard, where a major
I know my
fire
mom's
has
right
just
now. She
sparked
got the
in
Bible
last
open
5
and
minutes.
everything,
We were
watching
over
this shit.
The Pacific Palisades. We saw the glow coming from over the hill, and just in the last couple of minutes that it took us to get over here to Hollywood, this thing has exploded in size. You can see northerly winds coming through the canyon here, just west of Nichols, just east of Runyon Canyon, and you can see this is all
Back in the
very
day.
thick fuel that is
Dude, I saw a
fueling this
volcano
brush fire.
at
LA
the,
City
at the
Fire is
movie
aware of
theater.
this fire. They have immediately
younger,
called
man.
for the 20 closest trucks to respond out here. However, accessing
It's about
this
a
fire
volcano
is going to
happening
require
in
more
LA.
trucks. They're going to have to get a quick reaction force
La
over
Brea
here
tar pits start
as soon as
popping off and
possible, or more
shit.
likely LA City fire choppers over here.
It's a
as soon as
DI-ish
possible,
kind of
depending on
at
what
the end though,
resources are
with the
available.
ash.
But this thing is
Look,
blowing
we
up
all look
before
the
our eyes. It is a
same.
very sizable
People do
fire
come together
that is
in times of
spreading
tragedy like that,
rapidly.
and they don't
I'm
give a
gonna try
fuck
and get
about
some
color
more
anymore.
exact streets
I don't
here.
give a fuck about
If you
who you voted
bear
for.
with me
None of
one
that matters
second, Lucas,
anymore.
and over to the
something like
right.
this. That's
So
why it reminds me of
Runyon
Volcano.
Canyon Road to the right there, and if we pull out all the
Am I
way, so we
seeing
can
it?
just put
Y'all
this
seen it?
into a frame of
Seen it.
reference. It's just south of Mulholland Drive,
Seen
and
it.
if we come all the way out, you can see due north of Bonita Avenue and Vista Street off of Hollywood Boulevard. So we're talking about a mile and a half north of Hollywood Boulevard that is now on
Dude.
fire. It appears to be all brush at this point. Do not see the closest structure just yet. However, I think there's a house.
Whoa. So, dude, my fucking microphone is jacked. My settings are all jacked. I keep screaming, but it's not me screaming. It malfunctions. It's not for me punching it either. Don't worry.
That is fueling this right now.
It's the software.
Chris, I've hiked Runyon Canyon so many times. I know Mark surely has as well. And you mentioned the streets, Bonita and Vista. Those are all the streets that, I take to get to Runyon Canyon. I'm concerned there's a lot of homes there, a lot of apartments, and our fire resources are already stretched so thin. Are you seeing any evidence of any response yet? I know it is dark.
It's turned into way more content than I thought it was going to be.
This just broke out, but it doesn't look like it, does it?
Those houses are right there, dude.
We saw this fire, I think, before LA City Fire got the call.
Oh, wait, there's a dumper.
Been dispatched out here, and that's Fire 3. That helicopter flying right through the shot
What's
right
that
there.
mean?
That's Fire 3
is it putting
that has
something
just
out?
responded out here to get its first eyes.
Oh, it's not even putting anything on it yet.
For the first time right now, as we are doing so at the same time, trying to get a lay of the land here and trying to wrap their heads around this one. Because as you mentioned,
it's going so fast.
Well, their resources are just stretched so thin. I think it goes without saying at this point, it is a dire situation in the city of Los Angeles right now. And to see a fire this size exploding the way it is, ripping through Nichols Canyon here, or at least adjacent to Nichols Canyon, is just the most ominous thing I could think of at this moment. But
it's not even that windy down here anymore, though. So I don't know. I thought it was going to be.
At least if the way it's going with the terrain, I think it's going to head up towards
smolder out tonight.
Hopefully they can start dropping water in the next couple of minutes.
Well, that's the question. If the wind drives it, Mulholland is north of there, right? Hollywood is south. So if the wind drives it, it's going to push it south. But if it's terrain driven uphill, it would go north toward Mulholland.
It's another one of these situations like we were talking about in Topanga Canyon earlier this afternoon, where the wind is blowing one way. All the smoke that you see in the foreground of this shot right here, that smoke is coming towards Air 7. It is coming in our direction.
So the wind is blowing it down.
Those are Santa Ana winds blowing the smoke towards us. But if you push in on the flames, those flames are moving in the opposite direction, climbing uphill, up towards the ridge lines, and just ripping through the canyon. So you have fire basically spreading in multiple directions based on the wind and the terrain. It's a paradoxical kind of thing to wrap your head around, but it's just being fueled by a ton of thick brush and climbing up these hills.
It's hard to understand what's going on in the dark.
Remember the last time that area burned, and of course Dallas just came over to tell us that fires are terrain and vegetation driven, as you mentioned. We see these flames climbing uphill, and then we just saw moments ago there a drop from, we think, a water dropping helicopter. That is a good sight to see, but they're really going to need more resources to stop the forward movement of these flames before it gets out of control.
They're really going to need more water, Chuck.
In this area, and I'm wondering if whoever's
I think you're right, Patty.
The sky map can perhaps give us
I think they might need more than that one.
Technology that can show us where those homes might be.
You're so smart.
That are kind of adjacent to this area. We do have the roads there. You can see there's
How do you know so
Canyon
much
Road,
about
of course,
fire?
Nichols Canyon Road. There are homes dotting all along those roads.
Well, I burned my hair when I was a kid with candles when I was blowing the
This is a
cake out.
very well-traveled area by
I think for fire versus I like to know stuff about it. I know that wasn't going to put it out right there.
Go ahead.
Look at this. It's already spotting. I'm sorry, Mark.
Patty.
This fire's already spotting as the wind is blowing the flames downhill.
I love you.
Take a look. Guys, we have to open up, Lucas.
We're live.
Lucas. Open up. Widen out. Open up to the left. If you live on Curson Avenue, Curson Place, Curson Terrace, it is time to evacuate right now. Stanley Avenue, Bonita Avenue, Vista Street.
That motherfucker said,
to evacuate now. This fire is just about 100 feet from the end of Curson Avenue, and this entire area is going to be evacuated momentarily.
Whoa.
You saw that fire helicopter
dude, the
fly
chopper
through the shot.
made
It
it
gives you a
worse.
little bit of the idea of scale, because
fuck,
that
chopper?
helicopter was a dot.
These
when it
firefighters
flew
know what
through
they're
the
doing.
foreground of that fire. This is a large fire that is spreading exponentially here in the last couple of minutes. If we can widen out a little more, you can see it now taking more of a vertical position up the.
They realize this is Hollywood.
From top
All
to bottom,
hands
it's spreading in
on
multiple
deck.
directions. It's moving uphill with the terrain, and you have spot fires being blown towards Hollywood. This is a fire that is literally
You can't let Hollywood burn, can you?
Smack dab in the middle of the Hollywood Hills, due north of Hollywood Boulevard, no more than a mile off of the boulevard, and it's already spotting. Look at that.
Whoa.
A big spot fire right there in the middle of your screen. Go ahead and push out
This
and push
shit
in
said
right there.
pop.
And that
Big
spot's
flames
growing.
right there. That one spot is going to go up and grow
This is
exponentially here
mesmerizing.
as we keep
I
an
don't
eye
know.
on it. And it's going to continue
Fire is
to blow. These
mesmerizing
winds are going to
to stare
continue
at.
to blow this fire
Going
towards the city
camping,
of
just looking
Hollywood.
at a fire. I could just stare at a fire for an hour
something
probably.
we have to really watch closely here because you've got Waddles Drive there. Go ahead, let's start
Without
getting some
any
more of the
mushrooms.
streets, Lucas. We need to get people out of this neighborhood. We need to get
Chris,
people out of this neighborhood.
this is devastating to watch. We've already seen so much destruction. I just can't
Well, it's not
imagine.
devastating yet.
Process
It hasn't
having
hit the
another fire and
houses.
another swath of homes in
Maybe
danger. But I just want
firefighters
to take a
can come
moment
in there with a
to
little
announce that LA Unified Schools, all
it
LA
off.
Unified Schools
Whoa.
will be
Ain't there
closed
yet.
tomorrow. So we want to get that
Oh, here
information
it
out
goes.
there.
All right, so can we get the satellite view? Is it possible for your
Satellite
camera
view?
person to give us that satellite
I'm not too
daytime
worried
view
yet.
just for a second, so we get a sense
No,
of
the overlay, the overlay. Give them the overlay if you can. If not, no big deal.
Yeah, all right.
I'm sorry, Mark. It might not be available right now. I apologize. But just look at that spot fire. Look at that spot fire that sparked up 30 seconds ago, and look at the size of it now. It's
bigger
over 200
than it
feet right now.
was.
It started as a little speck. Go ahead and push right in on that fire.
Man,
right there, middle
this
of the
is-
screen. Go
this
push
is-
right in there. That spot fire
This is LA's fault.
already exponentially growing.
LA's fault, dude.
wow. Yeah, it
They
started
took
as a
funds
pretty
away
small
from
spot.
something,
We
I
all saw
bet,
it
and they
erect
didn't
there,
clear this
and
shit out like
it
they were
is growing.
supposed
Let's
to,
give,
and it
the street
because
names again, if we could.
since they
Kirsten
didn't have
was
enough
one of
rain,
them.
there's a shit ton of dry
and,
stuff up there, and they should have cleared that out, and they didn't.
Waddles Drive,
And somebody,
Carson Avenue, Carson Place,
dude,
Carson
Carol
Terrace,
Bassett fucked
Bonita
up.
Avenue, Hillside
I
Avenue,
bet she did.
Vista Street.
Of course, she doesn't give a fuck about Hollywood. She's a black woman, dude. Why would she? Oh my God.
Sierra Bonita, Franklin Avenue, Gardner
I don't know
Street,
who
which
would
is
be
where
in
the fire
charge of
department
this
is responding
happening.
right now. Almost certainly
That
they'll
not
have
getting
LAPD
cleared
going
out?
door to door here to start evacuating this neighborhood. Stanley Avenue and
There
Nichols
should have been
Canyon Road.
something,
This
water,
whole section
something.
here between Vista Street and Nichols Canyon is under the gun right now.
And so heavily populated, so many apartments and homes.
This
very
shit down
close
there
together.
is stupid expensive too for just a little
You're in the
bitty
heart
thing
of Hollywood,
for a
guys.
suite.
This thing
I mean,
is
for
flooding
a
and
studio.
growing by the second. I can't
You're paying like
emphasize it enough.
as much
There
as
is
I'm
no
paying
way
to live here
dramatize
for a
this. This is
studio
real
down there.
and
Probably
happening
more
in
than
real
that if it's a
time,
nice
and
one.
It's happening fast, just in the last
3,500 or
10 minutes.
something.
And excuse myself so we can go ahead and
would even have
start
parking,
to
though.
strategize and move towards mitigating this additional major emergency in the city. Thank you.
All right, that was Fire Chief Kristen Crowley, I think, excusing herself. It's what I believe is happening. So that she could address this fire that we're watching
The
here.
reason she knows about it is because Chris Christie spotted the glow in the sky. He was over, right? You were over the Palisades fire. You saw the glow from this one, came over to investigate, and discovered the fire.
That's exactly right.
Police
It
chief,
started
the
as a
female
speck
police
in
chief
the distance.
just
We weren't
now
even
got
sure.
word of this
My eyes,
fire
I couldn't even
and just
believe
now
what I was
left.
looking at, to be quite honest. And as we got closer, it became very
What?
apparent because it was
What?
growing and flaring
was
up
she-
right
why-
before our eyes. And it only took us a couple of minutes to get over here. And just
Was
in
she
the last
standing
few minutes that we've been
around
on
or
the
something?
air,
Why was
I can
it-
tell you it has at least quadrupled in size.
Informed yet until just now.
And with these winds, even though they have died down, and we've been hearing that
We
they
were
were
watching this
scheduled
for
to die down a little bit after 6 p.m.
10 minutes.
They are still blowing. They're still blowing, and even if it's 10, 15 miles an hour, the embers can
there's a lot more
fly
males,
and start new fires
white
very
males
easily, as we've already seen
in
when you
leadership
showed us that
positions
spot
come
fire.
up next election.
Chris.
In
I'm
LA.
sorry, one more time,
Oh,
Joanna,
and
I
in
apologize.
Louisiana.
It was not a question. I was just commenting that it
Where
is such a
else?
dangerous situation because the winds are
Chicago?
still blowing and embers will fly, and it is just so easy. We've seen over the last couple of days how easy it is for embers to fly to different areas
there's
and
more
start
places.
spot fires and set homes on fires. just a very scary situation.
And that's exactly what's happening. And that's why it's already, look how close it is now to Waddles Drive. There are houses on the other side of the fire. We are now slightly on the west side, looking more towards the east, and it's already starting to encroach on the end of that street. I can't tell if SkyMap is exactly lined up. I'm trying to match those lines up with the lights in the neighborhood. I'm not sure if the power is out down there, but you can see there's a few house lights near the bottom left of the screen, but that neighborhood extends all the way up, and this fire is continuing to spot in the southerly direction towards Hollywood.
Yeah, Chris, really quickly, we want to give people in the area who are facing this an idea of where this fire is so that they can then make a plan for what they're going to need to do, because they are going to need to leave this area. What we're looking at, basically, it's Waddles Garden Park kind of is where this area is. This is Curson Avenue that you were talking about. That's the bigger street, and then Curson Place here. Waters Drive off here to the left, Curson Place, and going down, and all down here, that's Hollywood. What we're seeing, essentially, from your position, I got to widen it out, I think I lost it, is that it is heading now, or blowing in the direction of Hollywood. When you look due south of where those flames are, of course, that's Hollywood. You're talking about a lot of apartments, as we've been saying, a lot of residences, a lot of homes, and they are all kind of in the path of this fire right now. The chief of the fire department, Kristen Crowley, having had to excuse herself from that press conference she was dealing with in order to deal with this new fire. And we saw one drop, right? Are you seeing other resources that are arriving on scene?
Bro,
I can tell you they are now attaching a number of units from all over the city,
Really?
as well as the San Fernando Valley. And LA County Fire is now dispatching a number of units to help out the city of LA. Resources are stretched so thin that they are requiring all hands on deck for this one. Anybody
I haven't even
available
fought a
is going to
fire
be heading to
before.
this fire.
What am I doing here?
It's continuing. Just in the last few seconds while you were talking there, Mark, look at this thing blowing up. It is blowing up and spotting ahead of itself as the wind is literally shoving it south.
Have you ever even seen a female firefighter?
At a decent clip. I don't have an exact reading on the wind
Is
speeds
she
up here,
actually one,
but it
or
is
did
blowing
she
flame
just become
and
cheap
smoke
somehow?
directly over Hollywood. I can tell you in the next couple of minutes, Hollywood Boulevard is about to be enveloped by that smoke. Look at that plume of smoke being blown from north to south, and the entire section of Hollywood that we're looking at here is about to be blanketed in thick smoke.
All right, we're just getting word from Dallas that the wind right now is blowing at about 15 to 20 miles an hour, with gusts at 28 miles an hour, which is enough, certainly, to send embers. You know.
Yeah, and we're still obviously under the red flag conditions, which we have been talking about. Those are going to stay up for at least another 24 hours. The view on the left is from our LAX camera, and the view on the right, of course, is from Air 7. Chris Christie in Air 7, monitoring this fire that has broken out in the Hollywood Hills.
I don't see how a female could do the firefighter physical test, dude. What the fuck is she there for? To wave at people?
And Nichols Canyon Road, and it is.
There's no way if she's cute, she's doing the fucking firefighter physical test, dude. Not if she's cute. No fucking way.
South toward Hollywood. It's burning both north toward Mulholland, driven by the terrain, and pushed by the wind south toward Hollywood.
She must
You're
be a
looking at the
tranny,
streets
dude.
there.
You gotta thank the
SkyMap is
trannies.
showing you the streets
Aren't you the person that I
that
think
are in the
trannies?
direct path of this fire. Curson Avenue, Curson Terrace, North Vista Street, Runyon Canyon Road, Hillside Avenue, and then down as you get into Hollywood, Franklin Avenue. Chris, what are you seeing in terms of, we saw that one helicopter from the LA, we believe it was LA City Fire, that actually made a drop earlier.
She looked like a
what are you
Samoan?
seeing in terms of other resources? Are you seeing police officers? Are you seeing vehicles leaving?
Mark, I can tell you, I'm going to jump in here, Chris. I can tell you County Fire was asked to join the firefight.
I didn't ban it, dude. You two banned it.
Now we understand fire 1, 3, and 4 are now over the fire.
Oh no, I'm sorry guys. Jovan, I've got to interrupt you. Go ahead, widen out, Lucas. You've got police on Runyon Canyon Road. Go ahead, tilt over to the left, and now a new spot fire. A new spot fire starting at the end of Vista Street right there.
YouTube doesn't want y'all talking about trannies, I guess.
Let's see what it does.
That's
I do
weird.
not know what kind of fuel is around that fire, but we can only assume
that's how they
worst.
try to shut channels down by censoring the viewers, because it pisses the viewers. Well, you guys wouldn't even know if it wasn't on the screen. You wouldn't even know it was happening. Nobody would know.
That spot fire is about 100 yards away from the initial fire. 100 yards south, 100 yards closer to this neighborhood. Now only about less than well under a mile from
I got a fucking community guidelines warning
So basically
today
what we're
on
seeing in real
Cam.
time right now is how
Playing
a
the
small
news,
fire can
'cause
become
I wasn't
a
here for
big
10
fire.
minutes.
This
Very
is how
quickly.
all of these fires that we've been dealing with that are now thousands of acres in size and thousands of structures have burned. This is how they grow.
Wow.
Driven by the winds, pushed along. The front line of the fire moves along with the wind, and then embers get pushed even farther. So literally, as we have watched now, 2 spots that have grown into their own larger areas of fire. And so we're seeing this spot that is moving it farther now past Kirsten Avenue. Chris, and you were watching this in real time along with all of us as we do see police responding to the area, trying to get people out.
I think I'd prefer that.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
There's no way they're doing the same physical test.
We're still keeping an eye on the fire. Didn't mean to interrupt you there. We're still watching that little
firefighters
spot
that are
fire,
females,
as well as the main body of flames
lowering the
just north of
standards
it,
probably.
continuing to spread. It's going to merge now with that hot spot here in the next couple of minutes. It's paralleling
DEI in the fire department.
You can only hope that the folks along Carson Avenue are heeding this and watching this or getting word of this somehow.
That's some scary shit, actually, dude.
The sun has just gone down, and now this is
they don't need a DEI of the damn fire department. Plenty of people want to do that. Plenty of men want to do
as
that.
long as this endures, but this has now spread. This fire itself is at least 50 acres as we look at this in just the last few minutes. Go ahead and widen out a little bit, and you can tell, Mark, just in the last few minutes since we first came down, you can see the size of this fire from top to bottom there, now paralleling Carson Avenue, getting closer to Sierra Bonita Avenue, closer to Hillside Avenue, closer to North Vista Street. That's where that spot fire is, just to the north of North Vista Street.
All right, and what Giovanna was trying to mention to us earlier is that the city of LA, LAFD, is asking for 15 additional engines from the valley or the city. They are just arriving on scene now, and they're trying to get more resources in there as quickly as they can, because this is a nightmare
See, this doesn't even make sense. Check this out. It says that they don't have lower standards. Bro. Okay, whatever. You want the door shut? Whatever. They must pass the same physical ability test, but then right after that, it says, and perform the same job duties regardless of gender. But then it says right after that, equal expectations. Most fire departments require all firefighters, male or female, to meet the same physical standards on the job. But then it goes on to say physiological differences. While men and women have different physical capabilities due to anatomy, the job demands are expected to be met by all firefighters. That right there. While men and women have a different physical capabilities due to anatomy. So we know that men have a higher ability due to their anatomy. They're admitting it right there. But they're saying that the women still have to be able to hold up to the expectations of a firefighter, but not to overexceed it. They don't like the men will be able to overexceed those expectations because they have more physical ability, but the women, they just had to hit the expectations. So it's a DEI shit, dude. Actually, I don't know. It feels like they lowered the standards on the test maybe and made it easier to be a firefighter in those areas for men too, but possibly. That's Allison, dude. I don't know.
LA City
I just don't know. I
just
don't believe
wrapping their hands around this one, trying to get as many
She
resources.
doesn't look like she
from
could
across the
pass
city
the test
and
right
from
now
across the
as the
county
fire
into
chief. I
position.
guess
LA County, LA County Fire
is that not a
helping
thing?
out
Why
here.
don't the
I can
fire
see,
chiefs have to pass the
a
physical
whole,
test?
a whole line of fire trucks now speeding down Mulholland Drive, which is near the top of your screen, as the winds blow this large fire upwards of 50 to 60 acres directly towards Hollywood Boulevard. You're looking at several of the neighborhoods that extend into the hills here, just west of Runyon Canyon Road. We're talking about Franklin, Vista Street, Curson Avenue, Waddles Drive, Curson Terrace. All of those streets must be evacuated as soon as possible, and we can only hope that LAPD is able to get in there as soon as possible before it's too late to start going door to door. It might already be too late, because look at this fire as it's continuing to spread south. Just in the last, it's literally second by second, David. That spot fire near the left of the fire is already growing by the minute there, right there. That little candle started as a little spark
on their
and is
physical
already
readiness.
ripping. It's going to merge with the main fire here as this whole fire extends and parallels Curson Avenue.
The way the wind blows through those canyons, it's really a travesty to watch this, because it's just a matter of seconds as we've been watching. This fire has exploded in size, and the topography of this mountain and the hillsides, it's going to be really difficult for those people to all evacuate in an orderly manner, which is it's always a tough time.
And just to let you know, Chris, Philip in our weather department is working on a map. We're going to try to put that up as soon as it is ready. But we're going to show you the proximity of this fire and these communities that you've been talking about that could be in danger right now and may need an evacuation order. But go ahead, continue your coverage while we prepare that map.
Yeah, I'm just looking for any sign of traffic. Anybody who's self-evacuating at this point, looking for any sign of that. Right now, you don't see a lot. It's actually somewhat of a quiet night over here for the most part. As I look up Hollywood Boulevard, traffic is pretty light. I would love to see more people coming down.
There is no standardized test for firefighters across the United States.
Coming out of there just yet. Hard to see. It's very difficult with the sun going down. But just trying to decipher any signs of movement that we can, because as you can tell, the smoke is already starting to obscure our view over this section of Hollywood. Earlier, we had a perfectly clear nighttime view of the area north of Hollywood Boulevard. You can see those house lights very clearly. Now, you can see a large plume of smoke enveloping a large portion of Hollywood. Again, this is all happening between, I would say, Stanley Avenue and Runyon Canyon Road, or more precisely Fuller Avenue. Let's say between Stanley and Fuller, this whole section needs to be evacuated, and LA City Fire is pouring everything at this fire. But as much as they are trying to get into place, right now we have seen a total of 1 water drop, maybe 2 or 3 that we didn't catch, but very limited firefighting going on yet. They are just now getting into position, just now getting a handle on this.
We're going to set that map up now. It is ready, and we popped it up just a second ago, but let's explain it a little bit more. There it is on the left-hand side. That is a fire. You can see it burning. That is what Air 7 has been showing you, but it's burning down the hill, and look how enormous that community is. And we'll put this up on the touchscreen map as well eventually to show you the tremendous amount of property that we're talking about, all the homes and businesses, but Hollywood and Highland is there. If anybody has been through Hollywood and Highland, which is most of you, you know how congested and populous that area is. That's how close this fire is, and it's moving really quickly. So the concern is what's going to happen if this fire continues to burn down the hill and reach that very populated area of Hollywood. And this is exactly, Philip is kind of showing us the direction of the fire and who is in danger, and there are a number of different neighborhoods, homes, and streets that could be in harm's way right now. Chris?
Yeah, it's continuing. It's continuing to spread south, but also there's a little bit of a flare-up now on the west side of the fire. You can push in right there, Lucas, and you can see a new head to this fire almost. So you've got the southern head right there. Over to the right, if you tilt over to the right, you can see another head to this fire as it creeps up this hillside here, which is just blanketed with very thick fuel and lots of trees just ripe for burning. Go ahead and widen out, and you're getting a better idea of just just how close this is now to Curson. Curson Avenue was the closest street when we first arrived. Now Curson Avenue is in the thick of this. What I'd like to do, Johnny, if it's possible, can we get over to the west side to see how close it's getting over to these houses? I fear that there may already be houses that are within.
I don't know, man. I'm just like, why do you want to be a firefighter if you're a woman, man? Fuck out of here.
That we could pop up.
Out of here, man.
Split screen, and if you,
like, you're not going to be able to be as good as your male counterparts. It's not going to. It's not going to happen. You might be able to pass the test.
This is where the fire is right now. It is burning in this direction. If I expand out even further, this is Curson right here, and these are the homes that are along Curson. But let's say, hypothetically, if this fire continues to burn in this direction, which is where it's going, look at everything that's in its way from these big properties, but getting down to Curson, and then you start getting into this massive amount of a populated area. And for perspective, we talked to you about Hollywood and Highland. I'm going to move the map over. Right over here is, let me expand out a little bit more. There's Highland, and Hollywood Boulevard is right here. So the fire is here. It's burning in this direction, and all of this populated area, Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard, Highland Avenue going up and down, all of this could be in danger. Chris, I'm going to throw it back to you.
That's right. You can see air resources pouring in here, trying to get water on this fire. They're going to start with the leading edge here, but that might have been just a recon flight. Not sure if you made a drop or not. I didn't see it. Did you see it, Lucas?
No.
I can't tell. But go ahead. Now that we're on the west side of this fire, you can see the distance between Curson Avenue and the closest flames here. So fortunately, the neighborhood along Curson has not yet been touched. The wind is blowing parallel to Curson, more directly towards Franklin and towards Hollywood Boulevard. So that's the main body of fire there. Let's go ahead and widen out again, Lucas, and show the proximity to Hollywood Boulevard from this angle. You're going to get a better idea of the geography here as that fire
Chuck, I think they're going to need more water
through the Hollywood Hills towards Hillside Avenue, towards Gardner Street, where LAFD is responding, towards Vista Street, Sierra Bonita, and ultimately Hollywood Boulevard is now no more than 3/4 of a mile, maybe only a half a mile away from the leading edge of this fire. But it's not spreading like a normal fire. It's spreading like a Santa Ana fire because it has been spotting for the last half hour steadily.
Dry brush there, so much fuel there for it to burn. It's
that's an
intense
ride.
We're going to bring in Margaret Stewart from LAFD Fire on the phone to let us know more information on this. Margaret, are you there?
Hey. Hello.
Hi there, Margaret. It's Ellen and David Ono. Yes, what can you tell us about this fire, this one that has broken out in just the last few minutes?
Yeah, so we need to get the word out to all your viewers that we have an immediate evacuation order in place in the Runyon Canyon area. So the east border is the 101 freeway.
They're not going to be able to get it, dude.
The north border is Mulholland. The west border is Laurel Canyon. And the south border is Hollywood Boulevard.
Can you say that one more time? I'm so sorry, but one more time. We're slowly writing it down, but yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. And we are working on a map as we speak, and so we'll have that up shortly. So on the right, so the east side is the 101 freeway.
Okay.
To the north is Mulholland.
Okay.
I didn't think this was going to hit Hollywood, dude.
All right.
And to the south is Hollywood Boulevard.
Well, and that is a lot of people in that vicinity. That is incredible.
Iconic parts of the Los Angeles community that are now in danger. So that
is the that's why I'm like, I didn't think it was going to actually hit LA, dude.
We'll make our own maps as well. But okay, resources now. Obviously, this is of grave concern. We're watching this fire before our very eyes move very quickly. What is going? What are you putting on this fire?
The Bible is true. Oh.
I'm sorry, you got cut off a little bit.
Tell us about your manpower on this particular fight. What are you putting on it?
So we have over 20 additional fire engines that are en route right now and on scene. I'm sorry, this is a very dynamic situation. We've got 27 fire companies assigned to this incident, and we have air resources that have redirected. As we mentioned, this is obviously an explosive fire that has just, blown up in Runyon Canyon, and it's in a very dangerous place. So we really cannot emphasize enough our law enforcement partners partners are activating, and we need everyone within that box. I'll repeat it again. On the east side is the 101 freeway. To the north is Mulholland. To the west is Laurel Canyon. To the south is Hollywood Boulevard.
And I will say to our view, go ahead.
I would say we understand that this is a heavily populated area, so we ask people to grab exactly what they need to get out the door. This is not a time to delay. This is not a time to try to use a garden hose to protect your home, as we've already seen what can happen in the Palisades. We need people to swiftly, calmly, and safely exit the area.
Holy shit.
And currently, just head south.
How close is this to the strip?
That's a good
stars
information.
are
Okay, so I've got a map here.
probably like only like a
We'll be
mile
happy
from
to come
that.
back with more updates right now, okay?
And we should tell our viewers at home that if you know people that are living in this area, perhaps they're not watching, they're unaware, give them a call, let them know to get out of that area as soon as possible.
Yeah, communicate as much as you can.
At LAFD.org/news,
Well, they're getting
we
it.
will very shortly have an interactive map
might
that
get it.
will depict the evacuation zone.
LAFD.org/news. Okay, Margaret Stewart, thank you so much from LA City Fire.
Thank you.
Wow, this is incredible. Now, I'm sorry, I might need a little help on our map over here, but I'm trying to decipher the evacuation zones, and I'll have that for you in just a second.
I know you're not pressing the like button because you like that Hollywood's burning.
Chris Christie is watching this
YouTube
fire
knows that
as it
too.
continues to move.
Nobody
And Chris,
thinks you're
have you
pressing
seen
that because you
homes
like
go up yet?
fires.
Right now, no homes have been touched, but I fear the first group of homes that are imminently in danger and will be touched in the next several minutes are going to be the Franklin Lakes area. The Franklin Street. Go ahead and tilt over there towards the neighborhood if you can.
Yo, this
there's
thing's
some
like
water drops. They're starting to put out some of those spot fires along the western edge, but go ahead towards the leading edge where the wind is blowing all that fire. Franklin Avenue is basically where this fire is heading, and you can see Vista Street and Hillside Avenue are going to be the first neighborhoods that are the first group of homes that are going to be affected here momentarily. They have to evacuate right away.
It's not going to happen.
You heard the order go
They're going
out
to save
live
Hollywood,
on our
dude.
air just seconds
They
ago.
have to save
There is
Hollywood.
an immediate evacuation
It is
order
their
for this
golden
entire
goose.
swath of Hollywood in the Runyon Canyon area. This is happening fast. It's happening
It
in
is.
real time. This fire has exploded, and I mean
golden
it has
child.
exploded tenfold, at least tenfold in the last half hour. It is exploding as it makes its way towards the south, towards Hollywood.
Fast this fire has spread, and again, to reiterate, Margaret Stewart saying that just take what you can, whatever you need, immediately get out. Just take your medications
really did
and just get out.
blow up
We've seen too many
crazy
times
fast,
people getting
dude.
stuck in these canyons and then these windy streets and
It's
not
like
being able
a
to get
piece
out
of
in time.
lint from the dryer burning.
Just a devastating sight. It is a devastating
Slowly.
sight to think of the insult to injury when the city is dealing with so
Or like
much right
when
now.
you burn the
and
lint off
county
your socks,
is dealing with so
and
much
it goes
right now, and now being put in
spreads
the
out.
position to redirect those resources to the center of the city
I was thinking about.
in Hollywood, just north of Hollywood Boulevard, between Mulholland and Hollywood Boulevard. This fire started in a canyon just west of Nichols and east, or just east of Nichols and west of Runyon, and had a lot of room to grow really fast. And unfortunately, it's a north-south canyon with the winds blowing directly from the north due south and blowing that fire directly into this neighborhood. The smoke is already covering up the neighborhood. The
I wonder if
flames
it's
are
smoky
not
as
far
shit
behind it.
like in
Push on
Hollywood right
Vista
now,
Street,
like
the end
in
of Vista Street, right there.
all the
at
tourists,
the end of Vista
they're,
Street,
like,
which ends right there.
coughing.
Now that spot fire, that leading edge of the fire,
Sinead went
is no
to
more than a couple of 100 feet away
Hawaii.
from Vista Street and Runyon Canyon Road.
Incredible. We want to show you a shot, if we can,
Honey,
from
we should've
our
went to
downtown
Vegas.
camera to show you how large this fire is. That on your left side of your screen is a shot from our downtown camera looking at the Runyon
I
Canyon
don't know. This would be
fire.
a
I guess it's called the
trippy ass
Sunset Fire now.
vacation, though. At
And
the
just
same
how
time,
fast that has grown.
experience the fire.
I am stunned by the speed. We should expect it at this point. It shouldn't be shocking. I can only
already
we can
got a
only be
hotel
grateful
room.
that this is starting tonight and not last night when those winds were much, much faster. Things have tapered off, but they've only tapered off moderately, guys. We are in a major fire danger until Friday. These winds are still blowing through here, and if you live in a flat area, or if you even live in the San Fernando Valley or areas across the basin, and you walk outside right now, it may not feel super windy.
Another one popped up.
But in these canyon neighborhoods, in the Hollywood Hills, the hills alone have a tendency to create
I'm gonna
their
feed
own
her because
weather.
she's
And
attacking
the speed
Simon
of the
a
wind
lot.
here,
I'll be right
the
back.
wind molecules are bouncing off those hillsides at a much faster rate and create a lot more wind than you feel if you're in other parts of the city. If you live in the hills, you know what we're talking about. Things were exceptional last night, but if you lived in the hills, they were downright scary because it felt like an actual hurricane moving through the area in the middle of the night. Right now, things have tapered off, but you can see the direction of that smoke. The wind is blowing all of that smoke in a lateral direction from the north to the south directly into the city of Hollywood. As I look out now, go ahead and wide out now, you can see a lot more traffic forming on Hollywood Boulevard to the right side, Lucas. You can see Hollywood Boulevard coming up along the right edge of the screen here. A lot more cars starting to make their way through here, but I think they are those are almost onlookers that are trying to catch a glimpse because they're stunned about what they see as they look up into the hillside here. Those roads need to be used by evacuees and fire crews to get into this neighborhood and start fighting this fire somehow, some way.
Yeah, on the best of days, those streets are crowded and congested anyway, so it's a terrible problem here. David, you have that map?
So many businesses have proactively closed their doors today because of the situation that's going on across the city. Even restaurants and commercial businesses that aren't even near the fire have, taken the advice of city leaders and closed, or at least closed early today, to allow for the movement of emergency workers to get through the city and respond to these fires. And this is exactly why, because now you have a brand new fire start that could be as serious as anything else we have seen in the last 24 hours if it does not get under control. And we can only hope and cross our fingers and pray that they can get as many air resources on this as soon as possible and continue to drop water on this fire. They've already done it. You've seen a couple of water drops already, but it is a fight against Mother Nature because the winds are ferocious and they are blowing through these canyons. Very, very tough situation.
All right, Chris, we're going to split screen your shot with what we've been able to decipher on our touch screen right over here. I want to give you an idea of the communities that are being affected and should be evacuated as soon as possible. It's a little bit of a tricky area when it comes to this evacuation zone. I'll start with the easiest part. First of all, here's where the fire is. I'm going to move it. I'm going to open it up just a little bit. That's where the fire is currently burning in this direction. This is the canyon it's in.
Do you hear anything that I'm...
This is Hollywood Boulevard, right down here. Sorry about that. Let me move it up. This is Hollywood Boulevard that comes right along here. That is the south side of the evacuation zone. So everything above it is being evacuated. Let me expand out a little bit more, move it over a little bit more. Laurel Canyon, which is right here. This is Laurel Canyon. That is the western edge of the evacuation zone, so anything on this side of the Laurel Canyon. And then if we get to the top, Mulholland Drive, which is right over here. So it's basically this area right here. So I know this is a little bit complicated, but let me just lay out a few of these communities that you have probably heard of before, like Mount Olympus, Hercules Drive, Achilles Drive, Willow Glen, and then Nichols Canyon, Waddles Drive, and then all the way to Hollywood Boulevard, just north of Hollywood Boulevard. So this whole strip of homes right here. Look at all of these homes.
Actually feed her more than it says to feed her on the
can. Should be evacuated, and if they haven't heard about the evacuation and you somebody lives there, get a hold of them.
20 grams more a day.
Nichols Canyon, you could see it is much more populous than the outer map would show. There's homes all along the way. Hercules Drive, Electra Drive, look at all of these homes up in the hills. In addition to that, look at all the fuel that's around all of these homes that
I splurged on something, y'all, since I'm not drinking.
So these communities are in danger right now. The
Sparkling
Hollywood Hills,
coconut water.
the Hollywood Hills, but also
Harmless.
leading down into
The good
Hollywood
stuff, the
and
pink
Hollywood
stuff.
Boulevard. And if this fire continues to go,
Peeked into
here's
it.
Hollywood Boulevard. Let's say if it continues to travel south with the pushing of the winds, then you're getting into Sunset Boulevard, Santa Monica Boulevard, et cetera, et cetera. The heart of Hollywood, the heart of Los Angeles right here is now in harm's way. That's why we're watching this closely. Chris, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Actually, David, we're going to toss it over to Dallas Rains, meteorologist Dallas Rains, tracking these winds. And Dallas, what can you tell us about these particular winds in this area?
Over non-carbonated. I'm not sure.
As Chris was mentioning, remember that, yes, we're not in those howling, powerful winds that we had yesterday, but it's still a red flag warning for Southern California. And the winds that are blowing through the canyons here in Hollywood Hills are at about 25, 30 miles per hour. Occasionally you'll get a gust, and they're still from the north and northeast blowing to the south and southwest. So that's what they're dealing with. And I was checking just a few minutes ago. The relative humidity of the air at tonight is 8%.
I didn't even read any of it.
The air gets drier and drier when normally at night the humidity goes up a little bit. But that is not happening in this situation. So this fire, driven by terrain, of course, initially, as Chris noted, starts moving up the hillside, but then those winds come over the top of the hills, out of the north and northeast, driving the fire toward the south. Red flag warnings are going to stay with us. When you look at the wind profiles right now, they're pretty much as we thought they would be this time yesterday. Everything is down, but it's still a Santa Ana wind blowing through those canyon passes. You can see Santa Clarita there at 25, not 45.
Can this guy go the fuck away already?
They dropped off to about 10 miles per hour in the city.
It's the worst part of the show whenever these idiots have to start talking. Welcome back to ABC.
Copy.
There, much better. Like every news station, when they cut to the weather guy, it's like, man, shut the fuck up. So, like, that's why they always have a hot chick doing that job, dude. Mexico, they have like naked chicks doing it on that one thing. But people don't want to watch that normally. It's boring. Like, they change the channel at that part. You gotta have ass and titties to hold the people. Unless you have, well, you like, yeah, unless you just have a lot of straight women that watch your news station, then it wouldn't really work. And you gotta, oh, that's what their demographic is, I guess. Fine. You let Simon in? You want me to let Simon in? Oh. Okay. Are you? No, she doesn't say random weird shit. She brings up shit from like 5 years ago. I don't even remember what she's bringing up. Something about me going off on Ted. About some snow or something. She's obsessed with it. She's obsessed with Ted still being my friend after we had like a disagreement one night or something, I think.
Flying through the shot here, and I'm paying particular attention to that brand new spot fire right there on the leading edge. Now the rest of that fire is going to merge with it anyways, but that's a brand new spark that just happened.
I didn't read what she said, but I know she brings that up all the time.
Are indeed flying through the canyon in the southerly direction towards Hollywood Boulevard, and the fire is starting to kind of leapfrog
tries to get
itself
Ted to remember some stuff so he'll
to these homes.
not like
Fortunately,
me.
at this juncture, we have not seen any homes or structures
this time it'll work.
but we are mere minutes away unless they can put out that spot fire and kill the leading edge of this fire.
Ted.
And even that will only delay things because you have large flare-ups like the one near the top of your screen right there. See that big flare-up right there, guys? That is creating a huge amount of embers that are continuing to blow through here and continue to creep south towards Hollywood Boulevard.
Yo, I spit so little on my concentrate today. Y'all be so proud of me. This is what happens when I stop drinking. I start like being more money conscious.
No more than 100 feet. No more than 100 feet there. Less than 100 feet if you live along Vista Street.
Dude,
if you live along Vista Street, there are house lights in the shot, and there is fire practically in the backyard.
My
Right there, that's a new spot fire. Literally
$12.75.
as it continues to spot ahead of itself. 2 spot fires. You see that tree on the left and a new tree or shrub or whatever on fire now on the
Coconut
right.
horchata.
Again, the embers are continuing to create new fires.
Batter too. It looks nice and creamy.
In fact, is there a flame on Vista? Is that a headlight or is that a city? That might be a house light.
This has got to be the
that's just a house
cheapest.
light. But you can get an idea.
I want
of
to
the
try it right
proximity
now,
to those
actually.
houses now that this fire is getting closer
Already
and
taking
closer.
pictures of it. Like I'll show you. I don't, like the picture will do it more justice than me trying to show it to the camera.
I worry about the same thing, David. I don't see any traffic coming from this neighborhood.
Less than
Hollywood
$15
Boulevard
with
is
tax,
now
I
suddenly
think.
coming to a standstill, and you can see why, because basically people are catching wind of what's going on here. They're driving through Hollywood, and all of a sudden they're in a cloud of smoke and catching a glimpse of the bright fire up on the hillside here. So that's Hollywood Boulevard on the right-hand side of your screen. Lots of brake lights, lots of headlights as fire crews try and make their way through here. The one good thing here is that we're seeing more helicopters arrive on scene, and we are seeing more water drops. But look at all those flashing lights. Those are all fire trucks making their way into the neighborhood and hopefully getting into position. I presume, even though it's dark and we can't see this very clearly, I presume they're already in the process of trying to set up for structure protection in the neighborhood just north of Hollywood Boulevard.
I spent less than $100 and I got a quarter
as
and a
I
gram.
understand it, extends to the south up to Hollywood Boulevard.
I'm out here saving money, Brett.
If this neighborhood catches on fire, expect that to grow. And
It better not suck though, like the weed does.
in the middle of Hollywood, you know, God help us. But
the weed's
this
alright, it
evacuation
just tastes really bad.
area could grow. And it could grow in short order, like within the hour. So let's keep a close eye on this and see how they do protecting these homes right here. But once these embers start flying into that neighborhood right there between Sierra Bonita Avenue, Hillside Avenue, and Vista Street along Franklin Avenue, just north of Hollywood Boulevard, then we have real problems. We'll see. It's getting closer by the minute.
It still hasn't hit a house, so that's why I'm just kind of like, I'm chilling. I've been watching the side of this mountain burn for the past half hour. Once it hits a house, I'm going to be a little more into this. But I was kind of like, eh. It's not that big of a deal. They'll probably get it, right?
And look at that new fire, a new spot fire right there in the middle of your screen. A new spot fire getting closer to Runyon Canyon, where fire crews are now manning Runyon Canyon Road.
There's a house right
There's
there,
a
though.
new fire right
That's
there
pretty
that's
close.
grown pretty quickly and is now getting closer to Runyon Canyon. What I'm looking
Firefighters
for,
are right
guys,
there, though.
is for that fire to jump Runyon Canyon Road based on the direction of the winds here. The winds are blowing that smoke and fire in this direction towards our shot here, and we will see if they can keep this fire from jumping Runyon Canyon Road. But it's going to be very difficult with those
I guess it
embers
could
flying
fly from right there, dude. An ember could fly from right there and hit someone's gutter with some leaves in it or something, maybe. Crazy. Whole melts. The whole melt. Girl Scout cookie wax. Order for $60. Order for $60. Or you get a quarter. You get 7 grams of wax for $60. What's that? Find it from Mexico? Oh. Shaved today.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the further the fire continues to spread southward, so does that smoke, and you can already see it more and more by the minute. A lot of that thick black smoke now drifting right over the Hollywood area. This entire area is now being blanketed by really thick and unhealthy smoke. Obviously, it is time to get out. If you live anywhere in this area, you can take a look at Hollywood Boulevard along the left side of your screen here. Lots of traffic starting to build up there, and even on Franklin Avenue, as those are more than
Put this on because YouTube's been tripping about me
those are
dabbing
probably
lately. I'm not
folks
taking any
already
chances.
trying to get out of here. Some of it is passed through
I think
traffic.
it's a
Some
crack
people use
pipe or
Franklin
something.
Avenue as a shortcut through Hollywood to get around Hollywood and Highland. But you can see traffic up and down Franklin Avenue is now bumper to bumper as folks try and flee away from this fire. Camino Palmero Street and Franklin Avenue is the closest major intersection to this fire. Vista Street is the closest known residential street to this fire.
Horchata.
And I actually
better taste
see
like that.
a little bit of a flare-up on the other side as well. Go ahead and widen out for me, Lucas. Widen out and push into the top right-hand corner now of the fire. That's going to be the end of Carson Avenue, where I want to focus just for a second to see if there's any structures that are being threatened here. We're going to come around here. You can see some of the houses at the end of the neighborhood we've been talking about here. We're going to get a better glimpse as we come around the north side. So now we're on the north side of the
Look at that
fire,
house.
on the San Fernando Valley side, over Mulholland Drive, looking south with the fire and wind blowing away from Air 7. And right along the right side, as we come around this ridgeline, you're going to see Carson Avenue, and we'll see if there's any sign whatsoever. It looks like the wind is actually helping these folks. It's reaching the top of the ridgeline right there, and then it would have to go downhill, which is not convenient for the fire, right? Everything's blowing in the other direction, and fire likes to go uphill. So the folks along Carson Avenue have the luxury of being below the fire instead of above the fire. So Carson Avenue on the right there is down the hill from that flare-up right there. So we're going to continue to watch this section right here as more flare-ups develop, more spot fires develop, and we'll keep a closer eye now.
Big one.
Look at it, there, another flare-up right there and a spot fire, and somebody's almost feet away from somebody's backyard. Go ahead and widen out a little bit. You can see a home right there. Let's go ahead and throw up our
the firefighters aren't going to be able to get back there either.
Parcel. Show me the parcel, Lucas.
Very easily.
You want to get some addresses out there? It's going to be right behind Carson Avenue here along the 2000 block of Carson. You can see the home, 1984 Carson Avenue with fire just feet away from the rear of that home.
Thank you all for the likes. Thank you all for the likes.
Yeah, we're going to continue to kind of wrap ourselves around this, watching it spot not only to the south now, but also spotting a little bit over towards the west. So we're going to keep an eye on Carson Avenue, but I think the focus here still remains on Hillside Avenue, Vista Street, and Franklin Avenue right there. That neighborhood on the right is now under threat by that fire on the left because the wind is blowing directly towards Franklin Avenue, right along this street.
Coconut or horchata.
Up until now, we have not seen
like
any structures
soap.
on fire, and even if it is imminent,
Floral
at least
soap.
they have the luxury of getting more water on it sooner rather than later, and hopefully do something to impede the forward progress of this fire. But it is continuing to grow, continuing to spread, and continuing to spot ahead of itself based on these winds. And there's another water drop right there. LA City Fire, again, smothering this area with as many resources as possible. This is now the priority at the moment. Of course, they can multitask and they can address multiple emergencies at the same time, but it is a good time to pray for our city.
Oh, good time is medicine. Awesome. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for the likes. Thank you for the fucking likes. Hit that thumbs up button, because you know when you do that, let the people know. Let the people know what there is here. What there is here. Release, release, release. Hold. Oh, release. Thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button for me. That's what you do when you do that.
Well, go ahead. We could actually show you Hollywood
He
Boulevard.
stayed quiet for me while I did that entire time until I pressed
to a practical standstill.
until it was over.
Due to the fact
What the
that
hell?
LA City Fire has so
That was
many
when it
trucks
ended.
now
He started
blocking
talking right when it
Boulevard.
ended.
So it's really difficult, if not impossible, to get through
Thank
here.
you.
And
Thank
if they
you,
don't
chopper
already,
guy.
I would imagine there's somebody down there directing
Like all
traffic.
respect.
But essentially,
Right.
the yellow tape is going to start going up and prevent access to the neighborhood. I encountered that last night when I was driving up to the Hearst fire in Sylmar, but right now it looks like you see some traffic now. That's a good sign right there. Those are folks along Camino Palmero Street that are now fleeing the neighborhood. Those are evacuees coming down Camino Palmero Street from left to right there towards Hollywood Boulevard. Those are all folks. That street dead ends, and those folks are now coming away from the fire. So folks are definitely heeding the warnings. They're getting word of this, and they're getting out fast.
Oh, how you doing? I forgot I had this on like this. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. You guys hit the like button though? Get 2 more. That helps. Because maybe it'll get some of our subs back. I doubt it. They were all Democrats. I've gotten rid of all the Democrats in my life.
Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
Democrat, if you voted for Biden, if you vote for Biden in the primary, wait, there was no vote for it. Oh man, if you wanted to vote for Biden, or if you voted for Harris,
Can you press F on SkyMap?
we probably can't be friends. You'll probably never see eye to eye with me on anything.
Yeah.
Judging off all the interviews of Biden-Harris voters that I've seen, there's no point us even talking.
Now again, back.
Sorry, they're all lost.
Fade back up. Oh no.
Come on, man, sound. Come on, man. Are you sure that's one?
Yeah. No buildings that we have observed, but there are now 2 major flare-ups. There's one in the foreground here, right there in the center of your screen, and if you tilt up just a little bit, Lucas, you can see on the other side of the ridgeline, there's another flare-up on the backside, on the other side of that ridgeline. Those tall flames are what really create the most danger.
Those
that are already flying at a higher
turn the sound commands off. They're too loud, aren't they?
Low, lower
are they ear raping y'all?
And things like that. So you have really tall
I can't turn them down altogether. I have to turn them off or turn them all down individually, which is a major pain in the ass. I need to know if they're too loud.
It really doesn't matter. I can only say that, again, thankfully, if
they
this was
are,
24 hours ago, we would already be in trouble. Now they have a little bit more time to prepare to get out, and the fire department has a little bit more time to try and get in front of it. But it is a wait-and-see game at this hour.
All right. I want it to be like waking people's kids up and shit with all of a sudden blaring out of nowhere. You vote for what? I don't know, dude. You're freaking me out again. I should put a screen up on our top right. I forget, there's supposed to be something there. Firebomb, no. Did you play it? Probably play PUBG really. Yeah, you missed the newscaster telling you the same shit over and over. Oh, here comes another one. That's a big one. A Chinook. Boom! Dude, damn, that's a lot though. Holy shit. Did it hit the right spot though? Damn, that's probably the National Guard, right? With the chopper that big. They said the National Guard was there. That's why I'm not too worried about it, dude. I think they're gonna get it. Because that's Hollywood, man. They can't let Hollywood burn. If they do, it'll be the end of times. People will start believing in the Bible. Into Hollywood. Hollywood's the devil. I mean, people are already starting to think that with all the predatory shit. Even Leonardo DiCaprio was hanging out with P. Diddy back in the day, right? And so was that dude from that 70s show. And his counterpart just got put up in prison for some underage shit from back in the day. So, oh man, it's not hard to see it as this is God punishing them now, and it's biblical. It's been a crazy year too with Russia, because some say that there's certain symbolization of Russia too. There's symbolization for America, Russia, for different places. What does it say about the evil that will happen in Revelations? Also, it's got to happen in New York City, probably. It's got to be like something natural. Remember when they had that flooding though a couple years ago? That was wild. I was restreaming the flooding going up into those apartments. Going on the subway and shit. That's my hurricane that swung up there. All swell, right? Supposedly the air quality is really bad here too. We got a message on our phones with that alarm and shit telling us about it. I had to go outside though. I needed my carbonated coconut water.
Do spot fire. Do spot fire right there on the left.
I actually just needed water, dude. I was out of water, bottled water. I don't drink the tap water here. I don't trust it. I don't even trust to filter it and drink it because they don't test for PFAs. I think that's why
I would not say that, no.
Topo Chico has such high PFAs because they're probably using treated sewage water. That's why it's got such a nice flavor. So many people are actually drinking refiltered shit water.
Widen that a little bit.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, you're looking at the right area. Okay, you're good.
The gringos don't even know it.
No, I know.
Because I heard that it has something to do with that, like treated water. It'll have like remnants of the forever chemicals in it. I was reading about them today. They build up in your body forever until they do something bad to you. Me too. Everybody. Where are they? There's a common people think that you can only get it from plastic bottles or something. It's actually in the water itself already. You can't filter it. Apparently. Now they're filtering stuff. I don't know how they filter it.
Which part?
How they
the drop?
filter it. How they put the PFA. How?
Got it.
But they can't filter all of them. Why the shit in our water. It says you can filter it, but
about 10 minutes.
Bro, come on, baby girl, you like to know something. You bitter. Jeez. It says you can filter 73% of PFAS contaminants on average.
Missed.
No, scratchy the carpet. On, bro.
What'd you say, Lucas? It's spreading, right? Yeah. Yep. I see that.
Oh, some PFE. You can't get all of them, apparently, is what the thing is. So, and they're just now starting to research this stuff in the past year. Well, I mean, they're researching it since 2020, but that I know of.
Look at that. Look at that flare up. Where is that? Where are you looking? Oh, wow. That's on the... Man, that's crazy. Sorry.
Bro, what?
Man, that looks like it's getting closer to the 405, huh?
You hear the noises she makes when she does stuff. She does a little...
Yeah.
like I can hear her thinking. Really is cute. Like, she's smart, but...
They did say that.
She's smart for her own good. He's gonna be able to beat him up one day because he's trained her. Better take it easy on Grandpa. What the fuck? Dude.
Wide out.
Trying to get stepped on. He was right next to my left foot.
Tilt down.
Laying down.
All the way at the bottom of the fire. Focus on that. Focus on that spot fire. That's
fast. Oh yeah, I was supposed to get another.
Sure.
Oh, there's another chopper.
If we start
can.
talking about houses again, just go ahead and do it.
Oh. Here somewhere.
Show those fire trucks going up Carson.
Find it. If I could just find.
That thing is flaring up. That fire is flaring up over there in Brentwood.
Oh, there it is. I found it.
Yeah, firefighter. Yeah, David, we're just, I'm sorry, we're doing a couple things at once here. You got a whole bunch of fire trucks now making their way up Curson Avenue, a welcome sight for the residents who live in this neighborhood. Hopefully they have evacuated or were not home, but now these firefighters can start protecting those structures if this fire continues to spread to the west. In the meantime, we're more focused at the moment to the south as the fire, the leading edge of this fire is continuing to create spot fires, albeit not at the same pace as it was about an hour ago. I'm losing track of time, but you can see that the forward progress is slowing. It has not stopped. There are new fires starting as we speak. In fact, that patch of trees right there near the bottom of your screen, that's a brand new fire, and it is even closer to Vista Street and closer to Franklin Avenue. However, if you look at this shot, the winds have slowed down ever so slightly. You can see the smoke blowing, but not exactly at the same clip as a little bit earlier. And maybe that is helping out the situation quite a bit. But in the meantime, it is still spotting, it is still blowing. They are still dropping water on this fire, trying to cut it off at the pass, essentially. But this entire neighborhood still should be leaving right now.
And be all right. Honey, make me a martini. I'm going down with the ship. I watched this lady earlier. They stayed in her house until it got to her house. They kicked her out of her house. The firefighters are kicking her out.
I think the concern is very
she got
much
mad
alive.
at him.
However,
She
the
called him out on the news.
is slowing. They have dropped a lot
funny.
of water on the fire, but that leading edge, that group of flames right
what are you
there
doing?
is very unpredictable and is still at risk of spreading throughout this neighborhood, potentially. But don't take
she
any
had 3
chances.
kids. It was a
Definitely
single mother,
heed the warnings.
black woman, and it's super like super black woman. You know what I mean? Everybody loved her. Well, not everybody, actually. Never mind.
All right.
It's a very interesting experience. Sparkling coconut water.
Another flare up. Just keep the camera on as we fly away. We're leaving now.
Fine, if they get kicked out. Oh, you can't have that. That you can't. Oh, good shot. Got it. Boom. Boom. Boom, boom.
Yep, I see that.
Oh, wait, that didn't work.
That's a palm tree.
The palm trees don't. You can play.
10-4.
Can't have my coconut water. There's somebody on the ground in Hollywood. Like, fire's right up there.
Yep.
The hill a little bit, you see a little bit of the globe, but I wanted to move to this spot specifically to show you the traffic jam and issues that are happening right now. In fact, LAPD, about 4 different cars just pulled up about 5 minutes ago to try to alleviate some of this gridlock coming down from the Hollywood Hills and from Runyon Canyon out into La Brea and on Franklin over to Highland, because the issue is right now, as people are evacuating, there's not enough room for all these cars to go. You see it behind me going up the street here. That's why we got a couple police officers really just trying to direct traffic to get them to come down the street. We're standing safely in the street right now because no one is moving. And we turn around here, Will, this is Franklin right now, and you're looking right down La Brea with all the red lights. Those are people trying to get away from the fire as far away as possible. Now keep in mind, just about 10 minutes ago when we spoke with you, we were physically on Franklin, maybe 4 or 5 blocks in that direction towards Highland. That was jam-packed going that direction as well. Folks are trying to get out really any way they can because of the evacuation we see over and over again. Check out behind me, guys.
In Hollywood normally. Holy shit, I can't imagine how fucking bad it is right now, dude.
Whether they're leaving hotels or leaving apartment buildings or trying to
traffic there is always shit.
We spoke with you a second ago. Can I ask you a question?
Yo, Tennessee Titans, man.
And you're leaving because of the fire?
Yeah, I mean, I live here. I've been here for 21 years, but yeah, it's time to get out, I think.
When you see the fires all in the other places, whether it's Pacific Palisades or Altadena, were you thinking, let me pack a bag now, or did that just come in the last couple hours?
It came in the last couple hours, yeah. Even though, you know, I've been waiting for Runyon. I've lived here 16 years, this place, for finally have a fire, and I guess it finally happened.
When it comes to grabbing things, just essentials, personal items, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like passports and checkbook and mementos. I've got some of my mother's things. She passed about a decade ago, and other toiletries, I guess, in case I got to stay somewhere.
When it comes to traffic getting out of here, have you kind of navigated how you're going to get out of here, seeing how busy it is at the moment?
I'm getting out here on foot. My car's right there, so there's no way I'm getting out of this anytime soon, I don't think.
So you're going to walk out of here and figure it out, even though the wind is kind of pushing it a little bit farther west?
Yeah, I was watching you guys on TV, the live stream, and I'm like, I feel all right, but people are going to be, people be mad if I don't get out of here. I don't need people from back home getting mad at me for not getting out of here.
That's the smart move.
Right,
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. You know, interesting point, too, because some of the folks we spoke to out here said, yeah, the wind isn't pushing the smoke in this direction. You know, we were in Altadena most of the afternoon, and it's obviously been really smoky. Here, it's not that bad. You do notice a breeze out here. That's one thing I did notice right when we got out of the car here, is there is a pretty steady breeze. It's not windy, but it's certainly breezy, adding fuel to those flames, and that's why I think a lot of these folks, especially after the images we've seen over the last 24, 36 hours, people here are realizing it's not worth it to stick around or to hang around a little bit extra to maybe make it if the fire goes in the other direction. So that's why we're seeing this. But
I mean, yeah, it is, because all the hotels are booked right now, dude.
Right across here, the cross street is Franklin, but we did have LAPD show up a short time ago to
hotels
try to
are doing
help
the
with the
Tuchin gift right now,
because you have a whole lot of people in these cars, especially coming down from the Hollywood Hills, trying to get as far away from this fire as possible. In addition to the folks who live in the many apartment buildings right here off of Franklin and Hollywood, who are just too close for their own comfort and trying to get as far away from this fire as possible. Obviously, this is a developing situation with these cars moving. We're going to keep an eye as we see another police officer come up behind me to try to get the traffic flowing. The intersection behind me, and this is the problem, and I just want to leave on this note, because yes, there are a lot of cars. Yes, the roads are absolutely packed. This intersection is dumb because everyone is in the intersection, so no one can move. So the problem is everyone in every single direction is just jam-packed in the middle of the intersection, so no one's moving in any direction. There's no flow of traffic, and I think that's why the police just showed up a little while ago to try to get things moving. As we were coming up Franklin, the same thing was happening. No one can move in any direction if everyone's blocking at every intersection. It used to be one direction, then the next direction. At the moment, no directions are moving, and that's why you have this gridlock here behind me. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio as we look around for more folks who are leaving town.
Yeah, that is the absolute definition of gridlock that you are witnessing right now. It's what a mess, but we don't know what to tell people right now. Monitor it. We're going to get back to you, Tim, because at any given time, getting through Hollywood is tough. I dread it when I have to drive through that area.
And I like meat pudding, though. That's how I do it.
Going on right now, that is
I just turn the meat into a pudding.
TCL Chinese Theater got a statement from them. They said we have closed the theater tonight, sent employees home because they're right in the thick of it as well. If you had tickets for tonight, please reach out tomorrow and we will issue a full refund. So that you're probably not going to go to the TCL Chinese Theater, but just in case, everything's been canceled. Let's go to Sophie Flay, who is standing by in Hollywood as well. Sophie?
I probably just be pissed off.
Yeah, David, I'm at the intersection of Hollywood and Vine on the top of a residential building. And people in this building are evacuating. They're as I was coming up to the roof to kind of get a better look, people were saying they had their bags in their hand. They had their pets on leashes in their hand, and they were getting ready to go. I want to show you a better look at what it looks like behind me here. Again, towards Runyon, you can see. Okay. You can see the orange glow. It's really unthinkable to see this so close to, Hollywood proper, really the city of LA, just getting closer and closer.
It's not gonna burn the city down.
Records building that is we are far away from where these flames are right now, but it's really unbelievable to see it glow. I want to tell you again the evacuation borders. The boundaries are to the west of Laurel Canyon Boulevard, to the north of Mulholland Drive, to the east of the 101 freeway, to the south of Hollywood Boulevard, and coming from Glendale, from our station in Glendale over to this area of Hollywood, the 101 freeway was jam-packed. People are following these evacuation orders and warnings, and they're getting out of here. They're packing bags and they're heading out.
Sophie, I can hear, I know that you're on an iPhone, I believe, but you can hear the winds right where you are. How does the weather feel? I know last night you were right there on the front lines of the Eaton fire, where it was really powerful last night.
Somebody said Trump lived for your sins.
You are now?
Yeah, Colleen, actually, Tim was saying earlier that it was kind of a light breeze. Up here, it is really windy. Again, it's good to see that these helicopters are out here now, hopefully getting over there to assist with this firefight, but the wind is strong up here. There's about 12 floors in this building. It's very strong.
The world would be coming to an end then.
That's one of the things that really screams at us right now is you're standing at a little bit of an elevation, but think about being up in the hills. Those winds are howling right now, and that's part of the problem. Sophie, you're doing a great job out there. Thanks for that. We're going to check back with you. We do have a Jacob on the phone with us. He is an evacuation from this Sunset fire. And Jacob, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Great. What was your experience like when you were told to evacuate, and what did you see?
I mean, I was keeping an eye on
the
news all day, so the moment that Hollywood was mentioned,
There's no audio over here. It's catching a house on fire though in Hollywood right now.
Get me and my cat and my partner out before the actual evacuation notice came into full effect. But yeah, I was scrambling a little.
That was very smart thinking. So where do you live in the area? You don't have to actually say your exact address. But where
somebody must be down there.
Evacuation zone do you live?
I'm just outside, so by Franklin and Western. So yeah, just a little east of the 101, but close enough to where it would become gridlock if I wait too long.
Oh no!
I was going to say, did you experience the gridlock that's happening right now?
It jumped way over there, man.
How did you get through it, and what did you think when you ran into the massive amount of people trying to get out?
Yeah, I mean, the way that we were heading, I headed basically as far east or southeast that I could go, and then hopped onto the 5. So
where the hell could it be catching?
People weren't heading that way en masse. It was, I guess, just felt a little heavier traffic than usual. But there were already roads closing down.
There's much for it to burn in this city, dude.
Power lines and everything. So it seemed like I was getting out right before stuff really started going tense.
Yeah, well, good thinking on your behalf. For people who don't live in this area, can you explain the challenge for people to get down and get to an area to evacuate? Because the canyon, there's some narrow roads there.
Yeah, I mean, the roads are very small. Like you said, it's from when cars were small and then they got big and then small and then big again. And it's basically a neighborhood with almost exclusively apartment buildings of various sizes. So it's small roads and very densely populated. And it's also, a major tourist spot and just major spot in Los Angeles in general. So it's already hard enough to move around as is.
Did you have a sense that this would be happening to you during this wind event for the last couple of days?
I mean, I'm generally pretty anxious, so it was always in the back of my mind. But to be honest, kind of no. I knew that even though it's much closer than I've ever seen before with all these fires, it's still, especially when I'm, in the middle of Hollywood, it doesn't really feel like, that it's going to happen right here until all of a sudden I go out onto the balcony and there's flames on the side of the hill.
Yeah, and so how long do you think, are you preparing? Are you going to a friend's? Are you getting a hotel? What does this night look like for you?
I'm really lucky. My family lives in Long Beach, so me and my partner are just driving our way down there right now.
You're very lucky to have family in town. That's a great situation. Will you be careful? I'm glad you and your partner and your animals made it out safely. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us on the phone right now.
Yeah,
of course. Thank you.
Best of luck to you, Jacob. Thank you so much for calling us. It is incredible what we have been dealing with when it comes to these fires. The last 36 hours or so of these winds have been incredible. So let's go to Danny Romero right now to get an update, because Danny, we have been talking about this for several days now, but we were thinking that the
certainly.
Remember the only look is going to the weather.
Too, they're going through this as well. They have lost, their schools, their homes, and it's very difficult for them to process exactly what's happening. And unfortunately, when you see that firsthand, it is just heartbreaking. Just before we go to the Eaton fire and Mary Beth, I want to mention the Runyon Canyon for this fire, the Sunset Fire, where residents can go if they need to go to an evacuation center. That's going to be at Pan Pacific Recreation Center at 7600 Beverly Boulevard. If you know Pan Pacific Park, it's by the Grove. You can go there, and they have a large recreation center in the middle of the park there, where you can go and get some shelter for the night until you figure out what's next. So
another point to add to that, the Hollywood High School is also set up as an evacuation center, and that word coming from LA City Fire. So there's a place to be if you need a place to be as it relates to the Sunset Fire tonight, obviously, and beyond.
Yeah, good.
All right, we go to Eaton Canyon. This is the Altadena area. This fire burning
did not get
in Eaton
email
Canyon
about
and
it,
spreading
though.
down into Altadena. Mary Beth
They took my
McDade is
stream
there
down
for
for
us
news
tonight.
earlier.
Obviously, a big problem still tonight as we see
They
a home
sent me an
burning behind
email
you,
and
Mary
everything
Beth.
for that one. And they took the stream down first.
Yeah, it sure is, Mike and Sherry. The winds, they flare up, die down, flare up, but they're always just enough that they keep sending those embers raining down upon the surrounding community. And yep, here's another home that's going up. More embers coming down as we speak. No doubt any homes that are standing are now in jeopardy of catching fire. Lots of trees up here in this Altadena community at the foothills of the mountains here. And so lots of trees to catch fire, and then in turn the homes catch fire. A lot of these homes, they're old homes. They have a lot of eaves that these that these embers can get into, and then of course, as we know, that sparks a fire. So this is just one of the 1,000 structures up here that have now been destroyed. It's just absolutely devastating. And we're right around the corner. If we can take that video of the school, the Elliott Arts Magnet Middle School, a historic school here. It's over on Lake. And it was founded in 1931 and named after Charles Elliott. Now, Charles Elliott, he was the longest-serving president of Harvard University. Many films and TV shows have been filmed there. And so it was just so upsetting to see that school catch on fire. We actually spoke to this woman who has grown up here. She went to middle school there, and then she went on to become a preschool teacher here in the community. And she went over to check on the preschool. It was attached to a church.
We get the
preschool survived, but unfortunately, it was one of the many churches that did not survive. We also went a little further up Lake Boulevard because a lot of people were telling that some, real staples as far as people going for breakfast or out to a bar or out for dinner, that we should go north. And so we did. And yes, we found this place called Fox's and several others that were just burned to the ground, several churches, a mosque, what have you.
Oh, really?
And we also spoke to this gentleman. His name is Joey Galloway. And he,
I wonder if any fires were set intentionally during this. Some dude's like, now's my chance.
Built a lot of the businesses.
I always wanted a new house.
And he is also someone who himself now owns a lot of real estate. and has been building up this community. Is absolutely
I bet that's
heartbroken now to
happening
see
a couple times
much
at
of it
least.
burned to the
They
ground.
have fire
Now they
insurance
have to
and like,
start
sweetie,
basically
this is
at
our
zero to
time.
rebuild it, and many of his businesses have
They hear it
burned.
like close
Here's what
by,
Joey
they
had
take
to
a piece
say.
of paper towel and light it and throw it on something. Oh, we lost everything. They have insurance on all their shit too.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. He gave. Now we don't have that sound prepared because it was a very special interview. Just speaking with someone born and raised in this community. I know he had said he went to St. Mark's and that has burned down. His the properties he owned. I remember him saying that the hardware store that has burned. That has been in this community for a long time. Also, I believe there was a breakfast place right next door that many people go to that was also burned to the ground. Hopefully, for our next hit, we can have that sound for you, and you guys can hear that interview from a gentleman who's been really instrumental in this community and rebuilding it. And he is certainly here for the long haul and plans to help rebuild it once again. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me.
I got a weird vibe from the black
chick in the studio.
Mary Beth, before you go, can you give us a layman's update on the winds there? They were ferocious last night. What have you felt since you've been there?
No.
Yeah, sure. Micah, right now, not too bad, although just enough that, Benton, are you catching those embers? Micah, can you see the embers coming off that house?
Yes, we can. Yep.
So it's just enough that it's, sending out, it's shooting out all these embers. So it's enough
always
for that,
get a weird vibe
but
from
it's
the
not
black
like
chick
last night, where I mean, those gusts were unbelievable. I was just being nearly pushed over. Yeah. And then as I've been out here today, I don't know, I got out here
it was when
at,
she told her son, she wouldn't let her son say anything.
They flared up again.
That was what it was.
And we saw the fire
cut him off.
burn many of those businesses. A few
she
churches,
wouldn't let him
also
talk
the Bank
at
of
all.
America.
The hell of lady. They talk too much on that station. I like the chopper pilot. It just like says something every now and then. These people nonstop say shit. They feel like they have to. They're actually. What I'm doing too. I want to see Hollywood. I don't really give a shit about Eaton. I'm sorry, Eaton. I don't give a shit about you. I didn't even know you existed until this morning. So how could I really give that much of a... I'm not a government official. They have to give a shit. They're the constituents. I'm not that. I plan on being that. That sucks and all, but Hollywood, that affects me. This doesn't affect me. Hollywood been going up in flames, that'll affect the whole country somehow. I think it will. It'll just show the downfall of shit. Maybe it'll show DEI and how it doesn't work. That'd be cool.
Home vulnerable to a predator, basically, who can go in there and steal everything.
And it goes against all your instincts to leave your home unlocked. I remember last night when they said I should unlock. Oh gosh, I don't know. That would be the harder part. Leaving and evacuating is fine. Hoping that someone doesn't go and loot your home while you are evacuated is just horrible.
Disgusting.
But we do keep hearing law enforcement saying today, do not do that. And hopefully people are heeding those.
The new DA of LA, Nathan Hochman, whose sister lost her home in the fire in the Palisades, he spoke this morning to us about how he's bringing every measure of the law against these looters, who they are catching, and they will be prosecuting them. Let's stay in the Palisades right now and go to Jory Rand, who files this report.
Guys, this house is still burning. We had to move a little bit to the side because there are a series of loud explosions coming from inside that inferno of a garage. I think there's a couple vehicles in there. The gas tank might be exploding, but some of them have been extremely loud, and it is now fully engulfed. And you can see that while the front of the house, the garage is nothing but flame. If, Sean, when you pan up a little bit, we can see coming from the back there are some really large flames burning.
Susan Hirasuna has filed this report. We're on Topanga Canyon, not far from the village area, and a couple of residents as to point
the fact that they've got a major fire on this ridge over here that we're looking at. But you see no sign of any kind of air support, and we're not hearing any fire engines coming in this direction. Now I want you can't really see because it's so dark, but farther up Topanga Canyon, the fire has led to a lot of landslides. And so there are quite a few spots on Topanga Canyon where it's very difficult to pass. Now, adding to that, this extra danger where some of the power poles are smoldering right now. So if they're not down right now, they will be down shortly. I want to bring in Claudia Udy. She lives nearby. She was evacuated, but you called the assignment desk because you're worried about the fact that this fire is raging and you're not seeing any support. You're not seeing any aid.
Yes. I'm representing so many Topangans who galvanized together. We've been in touch with each other all day. There are a few people who've been here, who've stayed behind, who've shown us footage. And so we've seen it's just as quiet as can be. As you can see, there's a fire and there is no airdrop. There's nothing being done.
So do you see any firefighters up there at all on the ground?
No, there are no firefighters on the ground whatsoever. We've been abandoned.
They don't really care about us.
Residents. All these beautiful houses, people have lived here so many years, and we've been abandoned.
Has the fire damaged or destroyed any homes to your knowledge?
Absolutely. I have friends who live up to me, so on the other side. So there's this ridge, and then there's the other ridge. Sadly, people who've lived here for decades, their homes have been completely burned down.
This up the most, though.
No help.
No help. So, Claudia, what do you want to do? I mean, at this point, I think the resources are
probably only
stretched
do what they're
very
being
thin.
told, though.
What I'm wanting to do is inspire us as Southern Californians. We know that every winter there are big winds. This is just part of living here. So can we not create a team that comes here this time of year to be on the ground, to be in the air? Apparently we have rented some helicopters from Canada. I mean, I'm sure they're being used somewhere. I know that this isn't unusual. I've been here a long time. This is an unusual situation, but even under the better circumstances there's still not the help. There's not the strategy. And there's so many people who'd want to help. Let's just create a really good plan.
Claudia, thank you. I appreciate your perspective, and I just want to point out that we just watched that car blow by us, and it's just so nerve-wracking to me because we had driven up from PCH, so going northbound on Topanga Canyon. There were multiple spots where you could not travel past in the lane without veering into the other lane. So again, the situation here dynamic. What is dangerous is not just the fact that the fire is getting so close to Topanga and Topanga Village, but also the fact that this major thoroughfare is not going to be passable anytime soon.
Yes.
All right, that was our Susan Hirasuna reporting from Topanga Canyon and the devastation there, all thanks to the Palisades fire. We're up and over Skyfox now. This is the Sunset Fire that's erupted in the Hollywood Hills. This is the newest fire to erupt. There are several flanks to this one, and obviously the winds, the number one driver of those flames, are a huge problem. As now we're zooming in down below, and you see a bunch of emergency crews out there. Mandatory evacuation orders are in place, and this is what makes fighting these fires so difficult in the Hollywood Hills. These roads, Alex, are so tight, and they're so narrow. It's hard just to even get by, depending on what road you are in the Hollywood Hills, just a regular size vehicle. So this is so important to keep these roads open for emergency personnel.
And these are roads that preventatively, when there's bad fire weather, they often will shut them down from parking because they want to keep the roads open for emergency crews, and it is difficult to navigate those roads. I mean, that is I always, it's such beautiful, picturesque, important, expensive, great homes there. But when you drive up there, I always think, would I want to live here? But then what happens if there's a fire? Because for a lot of these homes, it's kind of one way in and one way out, and this is that sort of scary nightmare scenario that you worry about if you're in the Hollywood Hills. Not that I could afford the homes, that's a whole other discussion. But now as we look at our city, and you can only imagine what it must be like flying into LAX tonight, because if you're approaching from the air, you see fire in all different directions in Southern California tonight, and now the Hollywood area is impacted. Let's talk about the firefight, how the weather is playing a role in all of this. Adam Kruger has been tracking the weather for us, and Adam, because of the weather tonight, which is different than last night, it's a very different firefight.
Yeah, different, better, but not good. Let's say it like that. We have still very dry air, still gusty winds, just not quite as extreme. But let's back it out, and I promise we're going to get to a wind forecast in a moment here. I'm going to spend several minutes on what's happening with the weather. We've done
all right.
Filter, they say use only bottled water, and that is if you are still even able to be in the area impacted by the Eaton fire. That's a huge development in Pasadena. And in that same vein, a correction from Pacific Palisades. I'm not sure if you guys got that same alert saying use only boiled tap water or bottled water in the Palisades. They've issued a correction now saying that is not for the entirety of Santa Monica. That is for the zip code 90272 and the adjacent communities north of San Vicente. Another problem with water, again, that's a public safety alert correction from Notify LA. The zip code 90272 and north of San Vicente should use only boiled tap water or bottled water for drinking and cooking purposes. A very important update, as the last thing people need who are still there is to possibly get sick from their water supply. So that's an update from Pasadena, as well as LA City Public Alert for the Palisades fire. Also, Micah, just to reiterate, LAUSD has emphasized they are closed tomorrow at all campuses, but there will be meal distribution in some areas. So go to the LAUSD website for information on that. And one more thing I wanted to check in with you is about power. SoCal Edison says that 183,000 customers had their power shut off today out of precaution due to the high winds. Again, that's 183,000 customers with the power safety shut off today, but another 231,000 customers had their power shut off as a result of the windstorm, whether it be transformer, downed power lines. So you're looking at nearly 500,000 people without power because of this wind event, and still more than 400,000 people in the possibility of still getting their power shut off. The PSPS being considered for 9% of all of SoCal Edison's customers in the state of California. So I know Kai talked about it all day. Vera's been talking about it all day. These winds
Edison
are still
is
whipping.
not seeing the cha-ching gift.
SoCal Edison does not want to see any more fires as a result, especially of their equipment. So they say now 450,000 customers are still in the zone of consideration for having their power turned off. Again, we're looking at the Eaton fire on your screen here, and those in the Eaton fire zone have been notified by the city of Pasadena to only use bottled water. There could be a problem with tap water in this area.
Well, it says
Mike and Sherry have also been checking in on notifications for mandatory evacuations and evacuation warnings here in Hollywood.
A drop
those remain the same at this time.
in water pressure can allow contaminants to enter the system because pipelines might have cracks here and there.
Mulholland to Hollywood.
I had to click on it because it won't let me see it without it.
Sending out email updates.
I don't know where I am.
Again closed. Power shutoffs for SoCal Edison. They just emailed us some clarifications, which I read to you. And lastly, just checking in on the Hollywood closures and the traffic. I wanted to note, that's one more thing. The traffic around Hollywood in all directions, red on the map. So people, in a good way, are listening and getting out.
That is some good news there, and that they're actually heeding the warnings. And again, with that Hollywood fire, it's called the Sunset Fire, there are two places where people can go. And I do hope that everybody
was able to, download the KTLA app so that at least you have the information and can watch the live coverage as you go. And so if you're in the warning areas, maybe perhaps you might want to do that so that at least you can stay in the know about what's happening in your neighborhood and maybe when you can go back. And, I can't wait till we can deliver that news, and hopefully some people will go home to their homes,
Yeah, it will take time as firefighters work to secure the area and prevent further spread. As we look live now, once again from Sky 5, this is the Sunset Fire that started late this evening in the Runyon Canyon area and raced rather quickly to the south down into the Franklin Avenue neighborhood, where we have seen a whole lot of people heeding the evacuation order from LA City Fire to get out. City Fire on scene with support from LA County, as you're seeing live here, air support. They've got the Hollywood Reservoir very close by, so their turnaround time is a matter of minutes. And obviously, with the weather conditions improving, and that's relative, they're still not great at all. You've got low relative humidities, and you've got gusts that are effective enough to move embers out ahead of this fire. But relatively speaking, the conditions beginning to improve from what we saw last night, and they're obviously able to fly, and that's a great piece of news, especially in the face of a situation here in Hollywood Hills that requires aerial support.
All right, there you see John Fenoglio. He's on the ground there on Hollywood Boulevard, and tell us what's going on, John. It looks like, at least from the air, that they're starting to get a handle on it, which is really good news.
It says Ajami said a drop in water pressure can allow contaminants to enter the system because pipelines might have cracks here and there. When the pressure goes down, some of those cracks can actually work in reverse. Instead of leaking water, they start bringing things from outside into the water. Heavy winds. So that's how the water got contaminated. Cracks in the piping, apparently.
They are going around trying to get people out and trying to clear these roads. Just a crush of people trying to get out of Hollywood. And as we've been talking about, we see gridlock basically from Beverly Hills all the way to the 101.
Look, see, Long Beach is protected because I'm the Holy One.
Is telling people who live below this fire and in the immediate area to evacuate now and head south.
It could be Sweet Pea.
The water drops that you've been seeing
Gotta be Sweet Pea.
From Sky 5, we've been seeing them right here. This is right up Gardner Street, and it's hard to see right now, but we did see orange flames just up that street right there. That is where the fire is located. And I don't know that we can see them right this moment, but and we're just being mindful of traffic as well. We can see a little bit of glow through the trees right here. Mind you, we are in the street, so we're trying to be very careful right here. But again, this is where some of these engine companies are staging right now. It is where water-dropping helicopters are also circling overhead. We see one big chopper right now, right above us. Ken, can you capture that right there? You see that chopper coming in low? Not as good a shot as if we were seeing it from Sky 5, but nonetheless, you can see them right there coming up over the fire, and that orange glow off in the distance. That's where we've been seeing flames. But this stretch of Hollywood Boulevard has been jam-packed with people. We spoke to some residents out here earlier who also captured video of what it all looked like right after this fire broke out. Just a chaotic scene. The fire department told people to be prepared to evacuate, and then literally within a few minutes, the mandatory evacuation order was handed down. Scary stuff for so many people who live in this area. Just gridlock throughout Hollywood as we were trying to approach this fire here, the Sunset Fire. We do know that there are 23 fire companies on scene, and as you've seen from Sky 5, there are water drops using helicopters. All of this, of course, this fire, the Sunset Fire, started on near the 2300 block of North Solar Drive, up in the steep terrain there. At first, we were told that the fire was moving uphill, but there have been erratic wind conditions, certainly not as bad as they were last night, but problematic nonetheless. We see another chopper coming in right now, coming in low over this fire, the Sunset Fire. so many of these engine companies, we're basically at the base of Waddles Park, and this is basically on the 7600 block, almost the 7600 block of Hollywood Boulevard. They've been trying to contain this fire from spreading more than about 20 to 30 acres, but of course, Mother Nature's calling the shots out here, and the weather has not been on firefighters' side. You also couple that with the fact that the fire department from LA City to LA County and every other agency in between has just been stretched thin from all of these wildfires that have broken out in LA County. Another helicopter coming up overhead right now, which is good news. That evacuation zone again is Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west, Mulholland Drive on the north, the 101 freeway to the east, and Hollywood Boulevard on the south side. Authorities are urging people to evacuate if you live within that zone and head south. We are trying to make our way closer to another staging area. We are trying to talk to some of the folks out here, and we're going to bring you another update here in just a few minutes. So Sharon, Micah, I'm going to send it right back to you.
That's great, John. Go get your elements, and we'll see you soon. So as John inches closer to this fire, Sandra Mitchell is on the road, on the move, trying to get to a location where we can connect with her, and once we do, we'll get her on the air. Yeah. Gil Avis in Sky 5. Gil, this is a remarkable response from a depleted firefighting force, and the effectiveness they've had tonight, something to watch. Mm-hmm. Gil, are you with us?
Oh, sorry, Mike. Sorry, I was listening to the assignment desk talking to me about something. But yeah, we're looking at the extent of the fire right now. It's actually a lot less smoke.
Need to check in with Tim Caputo and see what this commotion is. We want to go back to you. I'd love to talk to you more about your history and stuff. But Tim, go ahead, take it away. What's happening here?
Yeah, I just want to update you guys real quick, because we're in a dire situation right now, because we are just about 10 homes north of Franklin at a home here on Vista where the palm tree above the home caught fire about 5 minutes ago. That itself is troubling and alarming. The concern is all these ashes are falling on top of this house and the house next door. To this point with this fire, we have not seen any houses go up in flames, but you know how it gets. One turns to two, turns to a dozen really quickly. So these are actually good Samaritans who talked to the homeowners on their Ring camera, who evacuated already, who gave them access to try to get up on the roof. And you see the one guy right now as they're trying to throw the hose up on the roof so they could start to spray the palm tree itself. But as you see, pieces are falling down right here in the driveway. And also, we'll come over here next door as well. I think the homeowners are home here. They've taken out their hose as well. But you see from this angle, some of the debris is coming off of the tree and down into the driveway here, which is fine at the moment. But obviously, there are trees here, there are bushes on this side, and homes on either side. The obvious concern here is the fact that if one of these homes catches fire and really goes up, and fire crews haven't made it here just yet, there's always a concern the next one and this entire block goes up. We are a half a block from Franklin, maybe 6 homes up the street, and the Eaton Canyon fire is up there. You can't see it now because of the smoke, but some smart folks saw this fire at the top of the palm tree, quickly ran over, and now the one guy is on the roof. Come over here and show him real quick. And he's trying to spray it with that hose to try to get on top, to at least put out some of the flames, to get some of the debris to stop falling on top of the house. He sprayed the roof a little bit as well. He's obviously trying to make sure none of those flames or those embers come down on this roof or the roof next door. At the moment, a lot of the firefighters are up the street looking at the Runyon fire itself, so we don't have any right in front of us. We know a couple people did call 911 to try to get crews out here, but obviously a dire situation. Come back over here, look real quick. It went up real quick, and now all these embers are falling off, and looked onto the trees next door, into the house across the street, the house next door, and this house has already been evacuated, but at the moment, you see him up there, climbed up on top of the roof. He doesn't live here. This is not the homeowner. These folks don't live here. They started ringing the doorbell camera, the Ring camera, because they wanted to get whoever is inside potentially out. They had already left. They evacuated this home and gave him access to get a ladder from the backyard to get up on the roof. And actually, he's making pretty good work of it at the moment. Obviously, as you see from our perspective as well, plenty of those embers are coming down on top of us, on top of the neighbor's house next door. But he's spraying it pretty good with the hose at the moment, where it seems to be partially going out. Obviously, We've been talking about the big concern about this fire so close to all the tightly packed homes in the Hollywood Heights and the Hollywood area. If this catches a house on fire, who knows what happens next? So that's why it's a dire situation. I wanted you guys to come here real quick because they are working frantically. Strangers who came up here to try to help folks out, to knock out this fire, to make sure this house doesn't go on fire, the next one doesn't go on fire, and we got a whole mess in Hollywood. But I'll send it back to you guys and keep the camera up so you can see what's going on as we speak. But it seems to be the hose from the roof is making a little work, which is fantastic to see.
It had to be from the roof, man.
Tim, I have a question for you. It might be an optical illusion, but it looks like there's a power line that is right next to this this tree that's on fire.
Oh, shut up, lady.
Yep. So to be honest, I don't know the difference between like a cable line and a power line, but we'll come show up over here real quick. So there's the power pole, right?
Yes.
And so you have these 3 lines coming off the house to the power pole, the one kind of going in front. It's, you know, I would say 20 feet in the air. The palm tree is 25 feet in the air. So it's a pretty good distance. It's not that close, but obviously the embers falling on anything is cause for concern at the moment.
Please.
Crisis potentially has been averted, but that's thanks to the quick thinking of these folks here. Jumped on the roof, climbed on with the ladder, got the hose up top, and now is spraying it down. This thing, you saw actual flames at the moment. It's just embers, and we're starting to see, at the moment, still no firefighters, but obviously some folks are coming up the street now, and check it out, Will, down here, as they're spraying some of the trees and bushes next door to make sure those don't catch fire as these embers come down. But obviously precarious situation as you see some of these large pieces of the palm coming down and hitting the ground, but he's spraying everything pretty thoroughly at the moment to make sure these pieces don't catch fire and then nothing catches fire on the street. As I said, we're on Vista, which is just north of Franklin, actually pretty far down Franklin. If you know it, there's only a couple points of egress out of Franklin. You have Highland all the way down La Brea and a couple streets that go down. You can't go this much further this way. So this is towards the end of the street. The Runyon Canyon is just up the road, and they're obviously trying to save this house. And to this point, it's tough, man. It's tough from that angle.
Oh, is this in Hollywood too?
And dousing everything they can.
108 of those beds will be filled, and the good thing about it is we'll just be there for them however long it takes. That's the whole dream center. We give people the luxury of time to really take their time to rebuild their life properly. And so it's, I think reality is setting in. The first few hours it was a little slower, but now day 2, we're getting tons of calls. People are coming in now like crazy. Reality is setting in that maybe they just might not be able to go back for a while. Or
really, who? I didn't even have KTLA on. Damn, they're really cracking down on that shit now. I got fucking kicked. How long ago did I get kicked from YouTube? I know. I have 6 other platforms on. Nobody moved over to another one. YouTube's really going in on this shit. Really not gonna let me play this on YouTube at all. Crazy. Now to pop in. That's wild, dude. What the fuck? So I guess I can't play the news on a big screen anymore. And pretty whack. Stupid. So it says it would affinity for video. Video being copyrighted. I've never gotten those until this morning. It was the first time on the other channel.
That we can fully utilize at this point. You know, to have multiple brush fires that are actively burning in the city at the same time is very, very challenging. We've been messaging since yesterday when the Palisades fire actually started, and we've been working very, very hard with our firefighters, our local agencies, regional, state, federal resources. This particular fire right now that we're looking at, we're watching, we're actively engaged in. Again, we've got 210 personnel that are on the scene protecting structures, but our number one priority will always be protecting life. And with that, that evacuation order went out very, very quickly. Again, we need the public to listen to the evacuation orders. The shelters are already open, and we're ready to go there as well.
And I wanted to just make sure while we have the TV audience here watching this, that people understand where the evacuation order is currently. Right now, it is Laurel Canyon to the west, Mulholland Boulevard to the north, the 101 freeway to the east, and Hollywood Boulevard to the south. If people are evacuating the area and are looking for a place to go, the city and the Emergency Operations Center has opened an emergency shelter at the Pan Pacific Park Gymnasium at 7600 Beverly Boulevard. Staff are already there and waiting for people if they need support, and they are welcome to evacuate to the Pan Pacific Park Gymnasium if they need a place to go. And I really want to emphasize this evacuation order is very important, and I hope that people are heeding the calls to leave this area.
Absolutely. Councilmember Rahman, obviously these giant events take everybody's cooperation. Number one, what do you have to say to your constituents and to the citizens of Los Angeles as they deal with this, you know, unfolding disaster? And secondly, what have you heard about water, our water usage? What should we do when it comes to that?
You know, I'm going to let Chief Crowley talk about water usage and water usage guidelines, because I think it varies very widely depending on where you are and how great the need is for water resources in that particular area. I know there's a region of the city where they have a boil water advisory. And so I want people to make sure that they're looking at instructions from DWP on how to manage water issues. But to my constituents at this time, you know, I have, this is the fire I hoped would never happen during my time as council member, and it is happening. It is happening tonight. I want everyone to take it very seriously. I want people to follow orders. I want people to leave these sites. We want no one to get hurt as a result of this, and I want my constituents to know that the city of Los Angeles, along with its partners across the county, have pulled every resource possible to address this quickly and effectively and efficiently. The evacuation order went out minutes after we knew about the fire and were alerted to it. And we really hope that people heed these orders and stay safe.
So well put. And then Chief Crowley, about the water thing, what should we tell our viewers about usage?
Right. So just understand that when we have an active fire like this, especially as large as this is, our firefighters need every single ounce of water that's out there to help supply our fire hoses. So with that, we need the community to understand that when they're using water or overuse of water during active incident, that could hamper our ability to utilize the water resource that we need to put the fire out. So it is very, very important for the community to understand that. We want to maximize our efforts with the hydrants to get the water on the fire so that we can put it out.
Absolutely. Chief Crowley, you saw some of the images from people trying to evacuate. I know people were evacuating when they heard the warning come out. We saw the gridlock as well. Would you say that the LAPD, how's everybody responding to try to get people out of these canyon locations?
Right. So it's a coordinated effort for sure. You know, mind you, that's why the evacuation is very, very important. It has to be.
Well, yeah, they've taken the ability to restream the news completely away from YouTubers. There's that. That sucks. Why do they do it today, though? During the fires, all of a sudden. That's a bummer. Everything's just starting to suck lately. Automatically happening. I'm gonna end YouTube.